And we are joined by a very special guest, the original host of the Wide World of Electronic Sports, Asif Khan. How are you doing today, Asif?
I am ready to talk about video games that I watched all weekend.
Yeah, it was a long weekend of competitive video games, so let's get into it. We have so much to talk about this week. Glad to talk about our first topic is one we don't usually cover, but it only happens twice a year, so we don't really get the chance to talk about it often. It's Games Done Quick. Summer Games Done Quick, in fact, happened just this past weekend, raising over $3 million for Doctors Without Borders. So first off, congrats to GDQ for another successful event and another successful huge milestone in donations towards just a great charity. I really love to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I don't really get to see much of the Games Done Quick series as well. But I do watch speedruns like in person, like when, there's a big convention center style something and, they can do it somewhere. Like I think I did Adrenaline a few years ago and Grand Pooh Bear was actually doing a speed run for charity as well. And I want to say some of the original EGLX events before they stopped those, they would do smaller speed runs, but the crowd would be massive. And I'm like, I like, fighting games. I love my esports, but there's just something about watching somebody just like, go through a whole cycle of something, fail, and then restart from scratch. Like it reminds me of like sitting next to my dad watching him try the same thing over and over and over. And everybody's rooting for him to win. Like there is no winner or loser. Like we just want to see you, go further.
Yeah, that's a good point. Everybody does win in a Games Done Quick event. But
that's not necessarily true.
Well, yeah, I guess not if you're running Super Mario Sunshine, huh?
Yeah. Oh, hey, okay. That Super Mario Sunshine run ended 46 minutes in, and it was heartbreaking. But at the same time, it's this balance that speedrunners have between going as fast as you can and, maybe I should save. Saving takes X amount of seconds. So the runners in their heads sometimes have so much hubris that they're like, I don't need to save. I'm on a great... They look at what track they're on, and they're like, I might set a world record here. And they go from, I might set a world record here, to, oh my god, I fell to my death, and I have to restart. And that was, like, it was heartbreaking to watch, but it was inspiring to see the couch behind him get behind him, the crowd, which, can we talk about this crowd? An in-person GDQ was so fucking awesome. Like, they were... Every time someone would get a shine, it was like everyone clapped. It was like every time. I love stuff like that. But like seeing the donations come in at that moment, like the lowest moment in this runner's life that weekend, was inspiring and cool. And it speaks to like what this community is really about, which was raising money for Doctors Without Borders at a time where so many people, even in America, have to cross borders for healthcare right now. That charity needs the help, and they do stuff all over the world. It was awesome to see everyone back, everyone masked, everyone. The entire event was masked, which makes sense when you're raising money for a healthcare charity. But yeah, that Sunshine Run, sure, that hurt. It hurt to watch, but they pivoted. And it was an awesome thing to see. It's like, okay, we're going to turn this into a challenge run, see how many shines I can get before the end of it. But yeah, oh man. I saw it happening. I was watching it live because Mario Sunshine's maybe my favorite Mario 3D game.
Wow. Really? I just learned something new. You struck me more as like a 64 guy. But really, Sunshine? I'm not complaining. I like Sunshine too.
I like jetpacks. You put a jetpack in a video game, I like it more. Duke Nukem 3D has a jetpack. Super Mario Sunshine has a jetpack. You know what I mean? Flood, I would argue Flood is one of the most amazing mechanics ever introduced in a Mario 3D game. I love Cappy as well. And that Odyssey run was awesome, by the way. Like, holy crap. The talent on display from these runners is crazy. And like, I felt rather old watching it because I'm like, oh my god, Odyssey turns 5 years old this year.
Yeah. Wait, what? Not 5? What the? Yeah. Oh god.
Odyssey, a Switch game, turns 5 years old this year, and we just
Switch
had Breath
itself is 5 years old. Yeah.
but to watch how far the meta has gone in these various speed runs is crazy. That like people are still discovering new tricks that they can do. And like some of these things, we didn't even mention it because it was so early in the runs. The Kirby and the Forgotten Land run, that game's only been out for what, 2-3 months?
I think so, yeah.
They have some amazing strats they've already figured out. Some that are like, you have to have this weapon equipped and in this spot and do this specific jump. It's amazing to watch just how crazy things get. I know you're looking at the Super Mario World relay race on stream right now, and that was outstanding.
I wanted to talk about the relay races because we mentioned how there's really no winners or losers, but with the focus on relay races, because relay races have kind of become more and more of a thing with GDQ as it's gone on. I remember in the early GDQs, you didn't really see them that often. But now it's pretty much a staple that there's going to be some relays in each GDQ, and this year was no exception. They're really awesome to watch. Yeah, Asif, I know you want to talk about this one. What made this one so special?
Celeste developer Maddie Thorson contributed a level to this relay race. And it may be the most intricate ROM hack I have ever seen in my life. They have done things that I have never seen anyone do. The level zoomed in at one point. It tilted at one point. There was just insane things going on. Even what we're watching here with the flipping going on of the gravity. That's not something in Mario Maker. That's not the ROM hack community for Super Mario World. I think I want those tools. As someone who loves Mario Maker, like I want to mess around with this and see what I could do. And I'm sure it would be horrible and no one would ever beat it, but like I want to try it. But yeah, I was really impressed by Maddie's level, all the levels, but also it gets so goddamn hype because there are 3 people sitting there. Every time there's a retry on the screen, you have to switch. So it's like, it's this balance of getting your teammates more information on these levels because none of the runners have seen these levels before.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
First runs on all these Kaizo levels.
First runs,
yeah,
right.
And you know how Kaizo is, man. It's like, oh, congratulations on doing that one jump. Now you get punched in the face. So it was watching that and watching that like frustration on some of the runners, but also realizing like I'm getting my team data. All of these runs had checkpoints in their levels because they're so insanely hard. So like getting to the checkpoint was a huge W sometimes, right? And it was this back and forth between, in this case, double jump dinos and RNG dolphins, where it really felt like the dinos were going to win it for most of the run. And then a couple of really bad or tough checkpoints showed up for them. And then there was a mass switch over to the other side. So it was it was fun. It was hype. And I love it because these are some of the best Mario players in the world playing this. Specifically in the Kaizo community. You had Barb and you had what's his name? Carl Sagan. And who are like two of they were like the captains of their respective teams. And you got to see Carl compete in 2 things. They were in the Super Mario Maker 2 relay race as well as the Mario World. But yeah, when it comes to 2D Mario, this is my favorite game, Super Mario World. And I think it's like one of the most perfect platformers ever made. So to see them do what they did with this ROM hack is crazy. And it required like a huge amount of community effort there. The Kaizo scene
to build all
together.
These levels.
Yeah. And months of planning. Yeah. I just think it was really a highlight of the whole stream for me.
Yeah. I was going to say to build these levels, and not only that, but to play test them, iterate them, and keep them secret, so that nobody knows about them beforehand or sees them. The runners are all blind and everything. It's a really cool concept. And it just shows how the Kaizo community really is just grown beyond Mario Maker. Like they don't need Mario Maker at all, really. They can do stuff, like you were saying, they can do stuff that is just a step beyond what that game can do now with different mechanics and things.
And there's a contentious relationship between Nintendo and Kaizo runners in general. Kaizo levels being deleted off of Mario Maker, off of Mario Maker 2. Right. YouTube videos showing Kaizo tricks have been taken down by Nintendo. I don't know why they hate it so much because Kaizo fucking rules.
They don't like. I guess they just don't like people altering the original game code. Yeah,
sure. But like,
it's such an old game at this point. Really, who cares?
How many times have I bought Super Mario World from you guys? I bought it for SNES. I bought it for every virtual console you gave it to me on, and I play it on your stupid Switch Online.
Everyone who has a Switch Online, they're just giving it if you have Switch Online.
We have bought this game from you enough times, Nintendo. Don't just let them be. And I'm happy that we are in this place now where Nintendo can't really send a C&D over this because they're not monetizing this. It's something that's community driven. It's super fucking creative, and I don't know how you can look at this and say it's a bad thing for your brand. It's awesome for the Super Mario World brand that this is still going on, and I love that community.
Yeah, and 100%. I actually I just really like and admire the speedrunning community. I remember a few years ago there was a handful of people who were in other gaming communities saying, I got the best record in this and in that and blah, blah, blah. And just how in full force the speedrun community came over to swarm that, group of people. They were like, dude, you're lying. We got the records right here. It just seems like it's all for, and I'm not saying that there isn't money in this. I'm sure some of the big speedrunners do make money off of what they do, whatever. We all got to live and eat. But it just feels like more than anything, it's really more for the community and bragging rights. I got the best time. Come get it if you want it. There isn't and it's competitive because of that. But at the end of the day, it's just offer, hey, I did this thing. It's an achievement.
Yeah, I'll say that the content creators in this space do make money. Bear has a YouTube channel. Barb has a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel. Carl Sagan as well. So they have a way to create a living out of this, but no one is out there selling these ROMs. Yeah. And I think that's why Nintendo can't come with the ban hammer. And I'm happy that the community has figured out a way to do this. We're showing some footage of the Celeste Romhack, which was also awesome and also has all these different mechanics that don't exist in Mario Maker or in the original in the original Super Mario World. It's it's awesome to see this level of I can't imagine how long they've been working on this stuff. And the collaborative effort.
The development of their tools, I think, has really taken off recently. Just the creation tools that they use have gotten so much better. Not only that, but the amount of devices available to play these ROM hacks, not only just on an emulator on your computer, but if you want to play it on a real Super Nintendo or something akin to a Super Nintendo, there's all these FPGA, devices now that you can either, put the game on an EverDrive, play it on a real Super Nintendo, or play it on a recreation of a Super Nintendo with a real controller and all of this, or it's gotten to the point where everyone has figured out all of their solutions without Nintendo.
Here's a question for the panel. Can any of you do a shell jump?
I could do a one shell jump in Mario Maker. Yeah.
Right? How hard is that?
It's not easy, not at all. And to chain them and do a 2 or 3 shell jump in a row, I can't do that.
I can't
That's
do
why
it.
When I watch these guys, I just shake my head in disbelief because I'm stoked if I do one shell jump a year. I suck at Kaizo. I make difficult Mario Maker levels, but they are not Kaizo levels. My levels are super not Kaizo levels because I suck at twirl jumping onto shells in the middle of the air. I'm really bad at these wall jump hacks that they've come up with. It's so difficult that when you see someone just blazing through these ROMs, you're just holy shit. It's a different level of talent on display here at GDQ. And it was this, we mentioned it before, but this was in person for the first time. And I think there were some nerves on the part of some of these players where it's way different when you're in your house streaming.
Yeah. Versus when you're in your house streaming, you've got to be in a way more comfortable zone. Even if there's so many people watching, you can still put that out of your head a little bit because you're still in your bedroom. Live events, I don't care how many people are there. Live GDQs have always had an element of nerves.
Yeah, this is way different.
And that's why, when you do set a world record at an in-person GDQ, it is ridiculously hype when it happens. I don't think we actually saw any of that this week because there were some nerves. And You know, it's as simple as, oh, I missed one jump, I'm not going to hit the world record here. Or I missed this one hack in this Odyssey run that I was doing, so I'm not going to hit the world record.
It took you 2 tries instead of 1 try, yeah. And that's just it.
And it's like, it's always this, when you listen to Mario Maker or any kind of Mario runner, they always talk about like, okay, I'm going to try to do this hack. If I fail, I'm going to lose about a minute here. If I succeed, I gain like 6 seconds. You're just like, why are you even doing this? But then you start looking at the world records.
Because
and how
they need those 6 seconds, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it's I love watching these.
Get into it before we have to get into our next segment. Is this actually esports? I know, Asif, you are very much on the side of it is definitely esports. I tend to waver back and forth on whether it is or not. It just really, I don't know.
Are the Olympics sports?
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics are sports, but is doing anything as fast as possible a sport?
I don't know. Have you ever heard of Usain Bolt?
Yes,
is he an athlete?
Definitely. Yeah, Usain Bolt is absolutely an athlete.
And what does he do?
But he runs. He does an athletic, he does something that is an established athletic sport. Esports is tricky. Like,
what is the difference?
No.
What is the difference between running 40 yards really fast and beating Mario 1-1 really fast? One you have to be on your feet to do.
In my opinion, there's a physical level of task that's in play. So they have to train and practice to get to those skill levels, especially when it comes to, technical things that actually take time to learn how to do. I mean, I watch people run stuff like Bloodborne, and they have to practice constantly to be able to get some of these skips to work consistently.
So I posit this, though. If you find a game that nobody's really played and you beat it faster than anyone's played it, just because by the sheer chance of no one's really discovered or played it yet, you are now the world record runner for this game. Are you now a esport athlete?
I mean, if you want to call yourself that, but where is the? I think people try.
Anyone an athlete in esports is a stretch.
Well, that's true. Okay, are you now an esport? Are you now an esport participant because you hold this world record in a game that no one else runs?
I mean, but you can say the same thing about games that people play now that are,
true.
if you have some shooter that no one else is playing, but you're the top player in it. I mean, if they had their own league and it was, giving people $20 to play.
If no one,
it's a very fine line.
I feel like
I don't think it's a fine line at all. I think it's pretty clear. And also, this isn't Wide World of Esports. This is Wide World of Electronic Sports, a term that my former co-host, Blake Morris, whose birthday is this week, by the way. Happy birthday, Blake.
Happy birthday, Rodney. Happy birthday to everybody.
He coined, happy birthday, Rod, too. He coined the term on the show floor of E3 2018, asking folks, are you ready to get ready to electronic sports? Electronic sports is different than esports. At QuakeCon, we invented a Wolfenstein 3D head-to-head speedrun challenge.
A score attack
speedrun challenge. Yeah. We also did the same thing in Doom 2016 at QuakeHolio. Those were competitive speedruns. So I do believe that if competition is your definition of an esport, that yes, speedruns can be esports. And we've shown 2 right here, these relay runs. Now, granted, there's no prize money here. There was prize money at QuakeCon, and that was to go to the final, right? It was our top 3 playing Doom 2016. Go back on our YouTube channel. It's awesome. That, to me, is, when there is an element of competition, I think you have to argue that it can be an esport. Where I stretch it to include other things, like, there are so many world records out there for sports that are individual sports. Like, you're ignoring so many individual sports if you say that, a speedrun isn't an esport. Because to Denny's point, the amount of dedication, time, practice is not unlike the Olympics. I was telling one of my friends this weekend, like, I care more about GDQ than I do the actual Olympics. Like, I would rather watch this than the actual Olympics. Because I'm
with you there.
You're seeing, you saw Dread for the first time. You saw Kirby for the first time. And these are games that are going to show up at future GDQs, and they're going to improve on their times. There's going to be whole new discoveries that change the meta. So like, I think it's more engaging than an individual sport because there's this collaborative community nature to speedrunning that I don't think really exists in regular sports. So there's like these built-in communities that help each other. And like you see it with how people choose who's on the couch behind them at GDQ, right? There are the Elden Ring Run, which, by the way, Denny, I'm never going to play Elden Ring now. I just watched someone beat it in 2 hours. I couldn't even get to like the third touch of grace or whatever the hell they call it, spot of grace or whatever the fuck. In the time it took him to beat the whole fucking game. And then, did anyone see the Pegasus glitch? Have you guys even heard of this?
No, but to your point, really quick, I think that it is an esport just because of its competitive nature. Like, I just think it has to be.
World records by definition. World records by definitions are inherently competitive.
I also wanted to touch on, you mentioned like it is competitive in nature by trying to be faster than anyone else running the same game or same category, in the game that you are. But there is also a very cooperative nature to the community around it where people help each other get better at runs, even though they are competitors in a sense. And I feel like there is definitely an esport correlation in there with the fighting game community, because the fighting game community has definitely had a lot of cooperation with people helping others grow better at the sport, grow better at whatever game they're playing.
The way I would put it, is that because I've watched, for example, I watched a lot of Silent Hill community, and once something is found out, something new is found out in game, there's no going back. You either have to get the skill to be able to pull off that technique, or you just won't be able to put up a successful run anymore. So the same way the same way you have, fighting game situations, we get to, get those 1 frame links down. If you can't do that, then you're going to be lost, left in the past, basically. So it brings up a higher level skill.
Yeah, I think about Mewtwo King and his frame data Bible. At the peak of his melee play, like literally he was the best player in the world. He shared all the information he had with all of his competitors because he wanted better competitors.
He didn't have to do that.
He did not. And he's still one of the greatest sources for frame data you'll ever find. And I think he's actually been a very sober member of the Smash community. We're going to get to that down the road on this show. But like I think that's an example of what Denny's talking about, where there is a collaborative nature in FGC as well, because they want everyone to be better so that I beat you at your best. I feel better now. You know what I mean? Like, so I think there's an element of that in speedrunning too, where it's like, okay, here's this new meta-defining glitch. I have to learn it. But getting back to this Elden Ring thing, my favorite horse of the year, Spectral Steed. Sorry, there's a glitch for Torrent in Elden Ring. It's in a specific version of the game that I guess they've since patched out.
Okay.
You basically, I had no idea how many. You can just quit out of Elden Ring anytime, and it dumps you away from whatever danger you were at. I didn't realize this, Danny. So there's a lot of So you have to have your horse spawned. You have to jump off of into to your death essentially. But before you die, you got to quit out, right? Yeah. Then you spawn again, and your horse is right next to you, and you just kind of walk off the cliff one more time, pause, quit. It creates an environment where Torrent, the Spectral Steed horse, falls to their death. And when any character or any NPC or any object, I guess, there's certain movable objects in the game, when their data is when they're in the death state, they lose gravity. They no longer have a gravity effect on them. So that turns Torrent into a Pegasus, a flying horse. And I saw that, and I was just like, this dude was flying around the whole freaking game. He was skipping everything, Denny. Like, completely avoiding sections of the game. Because he was like, I don't have to go through this to get to this anymore.
Yeah, they basically took the quit out state, and they advanced it, because they were like, give us a jumping horse. You're not going to leap off a cliff, so I have a little bit more downtime before the death animation.
It was a double jumping horse that can fly? I was like, are you serious? That stream was awesome, because you got to see all these ridiculous glitches, because it was then about getting to a higher level so you could get to that thing. So it was like watching... it it felt like watching Death Stranding at times because this person was just trying to climb up a hill on the horse, double jumping and shit. It was
the way that like FromSoft builds on some of their maps, they'll have portions of the map underneath other portions. So they're like, if we can just jump off this cliff and we can get into the next portion without, with our character still being able to spawn, then we'll just keep leaping until we hit the one rock or portion of that cliff face that will let us stay on. But now they have a jumping horse. Because a lot of other games you couldn't even jump like that in general with your own character. It's like, we're going to push this to the limit real quick.
Ridiculous.
That does bring up one more interesting point, though, because you say they have to use a version of the game that has since been patched. In esports, you're not allowed to play the last patch before whatever in any like real-time strategy game, first-person shooter game, fighting game, whatever. You have to play on the latest patch. Now, obviously, these are single-player games. They're not patched the same way like multiplayer games are patched. The devs aren't, in most cases, don't care about the speedrunning community. Like FromSoft, I'm sure, does not care about the Elden Ring speedrunning community. They're not patching the game for them, obviously. That does bring up one interesting point, though, that even though speedrunning is an esport, they can still play versions of the game that aren't technically valid anymore.
Yeah, it would be like playing NFL football this season with 1990 rules or something. I understand that, but to me, this was the flagship showcase of the whole week. They ended with Elden Ring, and I think they wanted some compelling content. And I can tell you, watching Pegasus fly around, I was in. I was like super in. And it was every, what do they call them? Remembrance? The words they use in Elden Ring are too
the
fancy.
spot of grace, every location.
It was every boss battle. This was like a boss rush that we watched in 2 hours. And like the things that they were doing, like entering boss arenas in a way that don't trigger the AI at all. So it's like there's a lot of glitches. And what I was getting at is that there are glitch runs and there are glitchless runs. So I feel like that kind of addresses what you're talking about there, Brian, where there maybe down the road we see an Elden Ring run that isn't glitch at all. It's 100% no glitch run.
You also have to keep in mind that there's a challenge run community too. So there's folks that don't even speed run the game at all. Like, I'm part of the no-hit community, so there's people that just will run through Elden Ring or Blood Ring or Blood Rain or any other games in the collection, and they'll just go through the entire game without getting hit once. They beat every single boss.
David Paddock on our staff, he does a Dark Souls 2 ladle run, and he does the entire run with a ladle. You're right. Challenge runs are a separate thing entirely.
But the reason why I bring that up is because people will do challenge runs, but now because the community has had so much time with some of these games, they'll do full-on races as well with the community and see who can beat the no-hit run the fastest or who can beat it with a certain weapon the fastest, and they'll just choose. Sometimes I've seen one where the host for the overall run, they put together like a full-on marathon, and they'll randomize each weapon for each run, and they'll say, hey, look, we just pulled this card, and the card says you're going to be using this one sword for the entire run, and that's it. Who can beat it the fastest? In which case, they've done that for charity and other things. I think just because, may not be getting paid, there's still a challenging side to that I think is still on both ends, the challenge run side and the speed run end.
Mm-hmm. No, I think there's definitely competition there. Though that's kind of my point across the board is that if there's a world record being kept and there's twin galaxies out there that keep track of everything, I think that we are there. You're splitting hairs if you want to say that this isn't an esport, but this is. It's like this is such early days for esports. Like I know it feels like we're in the old days, but like as an actual entertainment form, this is only two decades old at this point. Yeah. It's like too early for us to be like, no, this isn't allowed, but this is. It's like, and we're going to get to that when it comes to banning players later on the show. But I just think GDQ was awesome. There are games that I would never play that I absolutely love watching on GDQ. There was some weird it was like a music game, like a arcade game from Japan. Let me see if I can find the name of it. Sound Voltex Exceed Gear.
Sound Voltex. Okay.
Have you ever heard of that, Brian?
Yeah, it's an arcade game.
So they were speedrunning this, and it was, all buttons and knobs and stuff, but just watching someone, it's like watching someone play Guitar Hero and do it perfectly.
Cabinet there, right there. Okay, that's really cool.
Well, that was the thing. This was actually a remote stream from someone in Japan. So, that was the cool thing about GDQ this year. They didn't completely say no to remote streams. Like, there were people who physically couldn't get to Minneapolis that were able to participate with their runs. So this person was in Japan. They had the cabinet, and apparently there was like an HDMI capture of that cabinet.
You can absolutely do that now. I mean, not now, but it's definitely a thing. Real quick, I want to touch on that, though, because I guess there is some controversy with the inclusion of remote streams, because one of them was actually pre-recorded, it turns out.
Yeah.
Oh,
and edited, it seems. The Metal Gear run. Metal Gear 2, sorry.
Okay, Metal Gear Solid 2.
Metal Gear Solid 2. They actually did a Metal Gear run, too. That was awesome on the NES.
Yeah.
But this was the Metal Gear Solid 2 run that after the fact, the runner came clean, said that it was recorded.
Oh, my
That's
God.
weird.
Yeah.
Weird. That's weird, champ.
It's not cool. It's weird. I'm sure people who donated during that time feel kind of robbed in that sense, but yeah,
that's messy.
I guess out of all the runs for that to happen once isn't that bad. I wonder if there's more of that going on than we realize.
So I guess, is this the first instance of doping in the speedrunning community? Or not the first, but one of the more higher profile instances known at a GDQ?
Based on what I saw from Grand Pooh Bear, it's not the first time someone has cheated in a speed run. There are ways to cheat with save files.
But at GDQ, I wonder.
I don't think we've seen anything
from
this
an integrity
public.
standpoint. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest time, especially with them coming clean for it. I mean, there's definitely been speedrun controversy in different scenarios with people using different versions of the game and lying about it.
Billy Mitchell, for instance, has been surrounded in controversy about his Donkey Kong records and has been kind of defended himself a few times successfully. So, yeah, it's I know if you say his name 3 times, he'll appear. So let's not do that.
He streams on Twitch now.
Just real quick, the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze run by Spike Vegeta was awesome. I love that game. I suck at that game. I want to learn some of his strats.
It's a tough as nails game.
Not if you have Cranky Kong and you know how to roll infinitely. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, you watch Spike Vegeta break the shit out of that game, and you're like, I can beat that game. Then you pick it up, and you're like, I still suck at this game. You put it right back down. That is, to me, maybe the hardest side-scrolling Nintendo game ever made.
Yeah,
yeah, I would go as far as to say that. So to see him, I think he beat it in like an hour 45 minutes, and he screwed up several times. Like, it was awesome. It was great to see them, like, that team back together doing commentary. You know, like, you've gotten to know them as like fans or as viewers over time, but like, it's so much different seeing that panel back together, doing their wrap-ups every day, doing their commentary. We actually saw commentators that were playing in runs this year more than usual, so that was cool too. And yeah, seeing Spike do this was just awesome. It did make me want to pick up and play that game again, because I haven't beat it. I actually had never seen anyone beat it, so this to me is proof that someone actually beat Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, it's like free advertising for, like, a ton of titles that people may have forgotten about.
Yep. And it happened like during a Steam sale, and like all these other holiday sales are going on right now. So it's like it was a great time where you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this game. I'm gonna try this out. And then Super Mario Maker 2. We posted an article on our site with all the levels that you can download. Or you should probably download them before Nintendo deletes them, because they are Kaizo levels, and they hate Kaizo over at Nintendo because it's like a glitch. It's funny, you were talking about devs that do or do not fix things, right? Nintendo rarely fixes glitches that help speedrunners. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's very rare that Nintendo will go in and patch something. I think the only thing they patched, there was that jump rope mini game in Odyssey. That there was a camera glitch. They fixed that.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like the Mario devs I think someone over there at Nintendo seems to like some of these things.
Yeah, I think Mario traditionally has had people have always discovered secrets, glitches about Mario games that obviously couldn't be patched in the old days. And yeah, Nintendo has kind of just kept with that tradition to where they only really patch things that are like performance, related or game breaking. Obviously, if it's going to break the game or break a save, then they'll patch that.
Some of these glitches I feel are like dev doors that
It might be.
they know exist, and it helps them get through it while they're playtesting. And then by the time they're out, they're like, no one's gonna figure this out. And then you find the one speedrunner out there who walks around every square in Mario 64 and butt stomps on it until they figure out some glitch. So like that was the one thing, like while I was watching this, I'm like, how do they have the time to figure this shit out? Because like some of them are so obtuse. Like, who figured it out? I want to talk to these people. I want to just understand, how long did this take you? Because the amount of investment from the community side of time is just nutty. But yeah, like, I don't think I could beat a single one of these kinds of levels in Mario Maker.
I doubt I'd be able to.
But yeah, it was cool to see Link, a Zelda-themed one. I thought that was fun. But yeah, GDQ is awesome. There's VODs. There was an F-Zero run that F-Zero GX. How long? What do you think the over/under was on the time it took to complete that?
F-Zero GX, I would say 20 minutes.
Yeah, 26, maybe 30. But
26 minutes, right in between you two. But yeah, like that's an old game, right? That's a GameCube game.
Yeah.
They're still figuring out stuff. They're like an F-Zero X runner figured out a glitch that the GX runner showed on stream, and I was just like, how the hell are we still figuring out stuff about this game like years later? And that's another example of a Nintendo game that can't be patched, won't be patched. But yeah, I love seeing that kind of stuff. And like to Denny's point, there are games out there that people aren't paying attention to as much that get a highlight because of this, because of these streams. And
also, like the electronic sports side things, they are regulated. I mean, there are people that actually do check the runs, so it's not a situation where people are just submitting runs and then no one looks at them. To be able to hit the leaderboard.
And this isn't like some Jaboofer's Twitch stream where you can just steal $50,000 by cheating. Like, this is a charity event. This is like a legit charity event.
Well, I feel like
so even if you are cheating, you're not stealing from anyone.
Yeah.
The money is going to a good charity. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a little different than what would be cheating at a FGC event.
Yeah. Or I feel like the community just does a really good job of policing itself, right? They just
it does.
They do an excellent job of not only making standards for each, not just speedrunning in general, but for each game, right? Like, so each game has its own set of accepted speedrunning standards, accepted categories, and things like that. But also policing runs themselves and making sure that fraudulent runs are struck from the record. I can't think of another community really that does such a good job of policing itself.
It's thorough.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would remotely come close would maybe be like some one-off fighting game communities, because I mean, for something like
there are some tight-knit ones for sure.
There's definitely some tight-knit ones. I think, with speedrunning, again, it's just, we're here to put up records. There isn't like, I mean, there are, superstars, there are like all that extra stuff that's like associated with just gaming in general. But I feel like it's a very cut and dry agenda when it comes to speedrunning. It's the whole community gets together and it's about who's going to do this the quickest and the most efficient way possible. Boom. You're now number one. Oops, hold on a second. Sorry about that. Boom. Now you're number one guy. Okay, boom. Now he beat you. Now he beat you. Now he beat you. Like, there isn't like the esport teams and all that other weird stuff, associated with it. It's just, hey, we just want to get this done as quickly. Not yet. I'm sure it's coming. And, Grand Pooh Bear's a Red Bull athlete. So, I mean, it's there. But at the end of the day, like, it still feels as grassroots and as self-policing as possible. And I've always loved that.
And shout out to Grand Pooh Bear for what he's done to elevate speedrunning in the esports community. He's done his own sessions. He had them out in Hawaii before the pandemic. They did one the day before GDQ this year, where he showcases games and runners that you may not have seen before, and in interesting ways. And they usually are head-to-head competitions too. yeah, shout out to Red Bull for supporting the scene too. But yeah, Grand Pooh Bear, a perfect example of a guy who is an excellent content creator, has kind of pivoted. You know, Brian, you talked about it. The whole Kaizo scene has very much so pivoted away from Mario Maker 2 because the way Nintendo treats them. If I was lucky enough to download Grand Pooh Bear's Kaizo training level before it got deleted, when I was flying, that was like I would put that on my Switch and I would just try to get better at Kaizo. Yeah, Grand Pooh Bear, one of the best people to follow if you want to learn about Kaizo. His community is really great about that, and yeah, I think that's kind of my point. We're at such an early time to define what esports is, and the companies clearly have no idea. They're paying $30 million for Overwatch League teams. So like, if you could sponsor like several of these runners, I think you could probably get more bang for your buck that way. Granted,
absolutely.
There aren't these prize pool events yet. I think that's the one thing. But that's why I like to compare this to the Olympics. You don't actually win money at the Olympics.
No.
You get a gold medal that says you're the best. Yeah. And then McDonald's calls or, someone, I think
Wheaties
that's
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing here. Like Grand Pooh Bear, through his own merit, got that Red Bull deal. And I think that more players are going to get that sort of thing. And I hope to see more esports orgs get involved in it. But if it's just this, I'm here for it. Awesome games done quick. Summer games done quick. This year have raised like over $6 million for charity. Just stunning. And if you watch that, I put a clip of it in our Slack on Saturday night. That last 5 minutes of the stream, they raised $200,000 in like 5 minutes. And it was incredible. Wild. It was just wild. Because if they hit 3 million, we got a bonus Elden Ring Run, which was also really fun to watch. Because we had just watched the world record holder do his All Remembrances run. And then I can't remember. It was like a glitch. I can't remember what the hell the difference was. But it was awesome. And to watch
usually they'll say like a glitch showcase kind of run for a bonus like kind of thing.
Yeah, and they did it. Shout out to the Tazbot runs too. Those are ridiculous and fun. There was a Zelda one for Ocarina of Time where I don't know what kind of ROM hack we were watching, but there was Breath of the Wild Link in Ocarina of Time, and I was just like, I don't know what the hell's happening.
Check that out.
Yeah. Check out the Legend of Zelda Tazbot run. That was an incentive-based run.
Awesome.
So the incentives were awesome. I contributed a couple times during the thing. Once for the Mario 64 incentive, which we got, and then once again for the Elden Ring run, just to get us to that 3 million. That was awesome, man. The flood of donated subs in their channel, because all that money goes to the charities. It was just awesome to watch. They are just real quick. Before we move on, their production team deserves all the flowers.
Everyone behind the scenes, for sure.
7-day stream of just amazing content, awesome casters, great hosts, amazing runners. The crowd was there and safe. It was a rather large event. It was just great to see them back. And also, shout out to Sumichu, who has been working with GDQ for 8 years, helping them grow. She has left. She has retired from her post there. We've interviewed her several times here at Shacknews. She's always been generous with her time and just a legend. To see where GDQ has gone from 10 years ago to now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
I hope they're...
those kind of hours. It's crazy.
I hope they're around for decades and decades more, because
I think they will. I mean, it's turned into a huge event. It's very much it is the biggest charity focused speedrunning, celebration ever. I mean, there just isn't anything bigger than that now. And I think it definitely has a chance to grow bigger for sure. Like there's room for GDQ to get bigger, to make speedrunning just a larger event in general.
And they can get, larger companies interested.
Yeah.
Because, we, as individuals, we can donate $5 at a time and raise a shit ton of money. We've shown that.
Yeah.
But if you get Intel to donate $1 million, or you get Microsoft to donate a few million, it's nothing for them. They have billions of dollars, So I look at it from a fundraising perspective, it's just the tip of the iceberg at this point. I obviously have ties to Extra Life, and I think we've done amazing work there too. But between Extra Life, the St. Jude charity streams that go on, and GDQ, it's the best part of the video game space. Sure. That we can take our video games, we can stream them, we can watch them, and we can actually do something good. I think is an awesome feeling. That's why, I had GDQ on my TV all week. It was just awesome. I'm always sad when it ends because I'm just like, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, but now you gotta wait 6 months for awesome games done quick to start.
Well, they also stream on their channel. They have Femme Fatales, and they have several smaller speedruns that they do on the weekends. So follow GDQ on Twitter and on Twitch.
Yeah, congrats to everyone involved with Summer Games Done Quick. Congratulations to the $3,016,000, I believe, $200-ish or whatever it was raised. I mean, it's just an incredible amount for a great charity as well. I mean, Doctors Without Borders just does incredible work, like you're saying, around the world. So, really awesome to see that. Let's move on, though, to the next big event of the weekend, and that would be a couple of Smash tournaments that we got to talk about. And, of course, the big one is Get On My Level, happening over in Toronto. And as you'll note by the hat, our own Rodney Conyers Jr. was there checking everything out, casting the event, and just holding it down. Rodney, how was it there in Toronto this weekend?
The funny thing about this hat is that I actually got this in Vancouver because I guess Get On My Level and Battle of BC work really closely together to try to help elevate the Canadian Smash community, which I love because, Canada's dope. But Get On My Level was amazing, as always. I've been to the last, I want to say 4 of them, including some other events that even Matchup Gaming and Waveform, the 2 production teams behind the events, have, had helping hands in. And they've hit the mark pretty much every time. I don't think I've been to one Canadian event ran by those 2 teams and I'm like, I didn't get my money's worth, or I'm not having a good time. They always figure out ways to make sure that not only the tournament experience is really great, but the overall experience, of just being in Canada, matches the tournament experience. Because Get On My Level since 2014 has definitely brought the energy. Even looking all the way back at some of the first side events they ran like one stock brawl, and it was just Mango running pretty much 100 and something people in brawl because nobody could stop them. Just little things like that. I mean, I think that just helps elevate, the overall experience. But, we can't ignore, and I think, Austin, you and I, we might have talked about this briefly. We just can't ignore the fact that there was no Leo, no Spargo, no Tweak. There was a lot of heavy hitters missing at GOML.
No ESAM.
No ESAM, and
no Light, no Mars.
No, none of them. And what was weird was, GOML 2019, in my opinion, was probably the best Ultimate Top 8 pre-pandemic. Battle of BC is probably the best post-pandemic. 2 cool tournaments on Canadian soil. But this one was missing a lot of players. And I know, Leo's been doing his, World Warrior thing right now. He's on his Ryu journey, and I'm proud of him for that. I think as the best player in the world, it's really cool to highlight other smaller regions just to let the world know that, hey, it's not just about what goes on in North America. Other countries and stuff can get it done too. But I feel like it just kind of hurts, maybe not the legitimacy of the tournament, but maybe the competitive viability. With them being gone, it was a good coming of age story for Riddles, I feel. I mean, he's not only the best player in Canada, but he's obviously top 5 in the world. And he's also, from Toronto. I mean, I think he didn't even stay at the hotel. He just drove back and forth between his parents' place and there. So he's that close. But I personally had really liked him to win this one, especially after coming that close at CEO. I know we talked about it last episode, but you just couldn't quite get past that wall that is Minecraft Steve, Asif. I know we got to talk about this character. What the fuck is going on? What's going on, Asif?
I will never advocate for the banning of a player, ever. A character. I don't think it's smart. I think the meta should just learn. Now, granted, sometimes a character is the Grim Reaper of your game. Bayonetta and Smash 4, fine example of that. Meta Knight in Brawl, another fine example of that.
Bayonetta,
but, you know, Meta Knight was a problem.
It was
in Brawl, and Bayonetta was a huge problem. Steve is a problem. Steve is definitely a problem, and I love that the for Onan, the 16-year-old who won, his is "We have to ban Steve." That's his on Twitter.
It is.
And it's like he picked this player up just to prove how broken it is, and I gotta applaud him just from a troll perspective. That is something else. Like, I know you're talking about Riddles being high ranking there, Big D, another Canadian showing up there. I feel the same way about GOML as I do CEO. These were super regionals. They were not majors, in my opinion.
Okay.
You can't, if you don't have the top 4 players in the world at your tournament, you can't call yourself a major. I no offense to GOML at all. I think it's the players that are causing this problem more than anything for the scene.
Right. I 100% agree. You know, with the absence of them, it really makes you kind of question again the competitive viability of, you know, your tournament. And, you know, I feel like, you know, I guess the opposite of that would be, damn, this damn dog. Sorry. He's very, very excited because
I can't hear it. Don't worry.
Okay. There's a new person in the house, so he's very excited. But I feel like the sheer, you know, nature of having those players missing means that now we get other players who get a chance to step up to the big stage. And Big D is somebody who's been good since the very beginning of Smash Ultimate, or maybe even like the tail end of 4. You know, he was able to get second place. Of course, Onan putting the Midwest back on the map, because the Midwest used to be really strong in 4, and we kind of fell off. And he's a combo breaker champion. That young man knows what it takes. But it really hurts to see them not show up to GOML, because GOML, I've always felt like, more than any other tournament, is an event for the people, by the people, like homegrown. There is no superstar TO, like, you know, who's hard to see, you know, faceless corporations. Like, they're all there. They're all shaking hands. They're all pitching in. They're all making sure that, you know, we can give you, especially people who come from the United States, that experience they're looking for. Because people, when they think about buying a passport, they think, I want to go somewhere that feels vastly different, like China or like India or something. Canada, it's like, they're just us, but with healthcare. Like, why would we go up there?
And legal weed.
And legal weed. So, like, why would we go up there? And it's like, go check it out for yourself. So people starting to come around to GOML, but I'm with you, Asif. With the absence of, you know, the best players in the business, it's just like,
I will say though, like, I'm just a fan who likes to watch fighting games. So I was sitting there and I was watching a hell of a run by Big D with ice climbers, right? It was so funny hearing TK in the grand finals being like, I have never commentated a Steve versus Ice Climbers matchup. I don't really know anything about this matchup. By the end of it, he really did. So it's educational just from a viewer standpoint, because we don't get to see Ice Climbers advance very far that often. And while we have seen Steve moving up in the ranks, this was the first time where it was like, case in point, here's why Steve is bad for the game, right? It's just funny because was it 2 weeks ago, or however many weeks ago at CEO, we had Sonic win. So now we're having Sonic and Steve win, and they're both campy characters. Sure. Now, I actually think Onan was playing rather aggressively with Steve. That was the other thing. Like, I've seen other Steves that are way campier than what we saw yesterday. Onan's going out there and building bricks around the ledge. Did you see that shit, Rod? Where he was like, here's 4 blocks. You can't even grab this ledge anymore. I was like, oh my god. Okay, that's a problem. The minecart, that's a problem. The there are issues with that character. And it doesn't surprise me. DLC characters tend to be good, because they don't want, the company giving you their character doesn't want to have a shit character in your game. They want to be good. And that's why Bayonetta slapped, and that's why, like, we've seen it, even some Kazuas, we've seen it with Aegis. Like, there are some, especially Fighter Pack 2, there are some bangers in there. And I don't think, like, why I think it's stupid to ban a player right now, or a character right now, they're still figuring out this meta. This game is not 5 years old yet. Like, I think there's still time for, like, something else to come up and be like, oh, so here's the counter to Steve in this scenario. You know, like I think it's what makes Smash so fun to me is are moments like these where there's probably some talented players that are labbing right now, figuring out how to deal with Steve. You know, figuring out what's that character I may pull out. What's my third character that I may use for this? That's good for the esport, in my opinion. It's if top 4 was all Steves and it was Steve Ditto, Steve Ditto, Steve Ditto, Steve Ditto, like, yeah, that's bad for the esport. We're not there yet. That's where we were at the end of Smash 4, though. So it is cause for concern. I understand why the scene's worried about it. But, like, I thought it was still entertaining to watch Steve in competition. Like, at the end of Smash 4, it was no longer fun to watch.
No, it wasn't. You know, nothing's fun about watching Bayo, and especially, again, you know, we talk about it every so often, but just to rehash again, the performance at EVO 2018, our last EVO there, you know, we felt already a little shafted because we weren't on the Sunday stage. We had to finish Saturday, and Melee swapped with us from last year. But then to see that done, you know, hey, you already were on the big stage, and after this, you might not ever just get a stage at all here. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, you just don't treat EVO like that. Even though EVO wasn't ran by the greatest of people at that time, you know, you just don't get on a stage like that and do that. So, but I'm with you. It feels like, you know, the community just needs to figure a couple things out. You know, Steve is a very strong character right now, and I feel like the sheer nature of him being strong shows that the community is starting to figure things out. You know, it's no longer about the Jokers and the Palutenas or whatever. Like, you can get a little innovative with some of your characters, and that can certainly push you to the next level. But again, we got to develop counterplay. There's no more patches. It's literally on us at this point. No more blaming Nintendo. No more. Yeah. Well, this character was strong this patch. Now they're not. Nope. It's just us now. We figured out Steve, so we can figure out a way to beat him.
You know, Rod, did anyone, when Steve dropped, say anything about banning him?
You know, when he originally came out, I don't think so. It was only when he started getting really good.
Yeah, not a peep for months. It's like they figured it out, and that's kind of my point. Like, figure it out. Figure out a counter to this. If there isn't a counter, fine. But your esport's doomed. I'm sorry. You had a nice run. But, like, it seems like this community can figure out a counter. And there's also just MK Leo is a monster, and he cannot be stopped. So, like, I would have really liked to see a grand final where Leo was there.
Yeah.
Versus
I would have liked to see it too. And I know he went to a different tournament. He went to Colossal over in France, where he actually dropped a set to Meister, which I believe he was the first offline ever. So, I mean, that again right there, players are starting to figure some things out. Leo is unstoppable, it feels at times. You know, what makes him even scary is that once you beat him once, there's a good chance he won't beat him again for a very long time.
He downloads all of that into his brain, and he's like, I will destroy
you. Got that footage.
I will destroy you. The kill switch has been activated. So, I mean, if Leo can do that and we can figure out ways to beat him, we should be able to figure out ways to beat these because it's not just one Steve. It's a lot of other Steves who aren't necessarily top professionals, but, you know, they are beatable players.
According to the Orion ranking, there's at least like 3 Steves in the top 50 now.
Mm-hmm. That's not anywhere near where Bayo was.
Yeah, you know that's not anywhere, and that's not anywhere near a bannable number of, you know, if this new ranking came out, because I guess Panda is not doing rankings and there's this new ranking, so whatever. But if this ranking is to be believed, then yeah, shouldn't the top 10 have, you know, 3 out of, or like I'm saying, or 5 out of the 10? Shouldn't they be all Steves? We should be seeing way more Steves on this ranking. But no, it's like 1 in the top 10 is a Steve, and then you got to go way down to find more Steves on this list. So yeah, if Steve was really a problem, you would see him more on these rankings.
I mean, you want to say that, like, you know, go ahead. As someone that doesn't usually have much to say for the Smash segments, I just feel it's funny that, like, you know, any kind of carry to banning situation coming from somebody who played Marvel vs. Capcom 3 in its heyday, where that game was not patched, and the only patch that came was literally a new version of the game. The amount of broken characters in that title, you either just had to work your way through it, the infinites, the broken corner stuff where certain stuff works in one corner and doesn't work in the other, and you can't block if you're on that side of the screen. Like, there's way more things that are bannable, I feel like, in that situation.
Masters don't know what broken is.
You
They
embrace
don't.
the brokenness. That's what you do in MVC3. And that's kind of my point, is like, embrace the brokenness. Like, thrive on it.
Yeah, it made the scene stronger. They didn't have a choice. You know, they had to come up with some kind of meta around it. I mean, Chris G was running with the Morgan, like, Sentinel combo, just filling the screen with rockets and Doom just flying through with projectiles constantly all over the screen. You know, there was no way around that for, like, a solid tournament season. And then,
can you talk about the Clown Cup real quick?
Yeah. You know,
let's
talk about it.
Funny thing about the Panda Cup is if you come in first or second at a Panda Cup event, you qualify for the finale. Yeah. So guess what? There's an Ice Climber and a Steve at the freaking Panda Cup finale. Get excited, Rod. December. How many more Steves are we going to have, Rod? That's the question.
And the crazy thing about it is that there's probably 2 back-to-back championships. Like, I believe that one and the World Tour one is either a week or 2 weeks apart in December, because there's only really 2 operatable weeks in December, and then there's Christmas and Brinson repeat. So I'm just like, okay, there's going to be a lot of Steve. There's going to be a lot of character variety. So, like, there's a part of me that's like, just chalk it up to character variety. You could be commentating Joker and Palutena and Sonic, but you're going to get some other characters that are going to be a little different, Rod. They're going to be weird characters, but, you know, these top players did this, not you. This isn't your fault. The top players could have stopped this, but they wanted to not show up to stuff or go to France or whatever, and fine, live your best life. These are your young years. Do whatever you want to do. I'm just stuck with Steve now in December.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this Sonic is the only Steve we see.
Sonic, Steve, Ice Climbers, you know, those top-tier characters, right?
Yeah, like, I know.
What on earth is going on? And, like, why does no one give a shit about Nintendo finally sponsoring or whatever the hell they're doing? Like,
because there's no money. There's nobody. Well, your number one player in the world, Leo, doesn't care about your cup, right? He doesn't care. He's like, you know what? I'll go to France and I'll play Colossal. I'll do the tournaments I want to play.
He went to Cuba.
Already know. Yeah, I'll play in Cuba for a Smash World Tour event. Leo doesn't need Panda, and he'll be at the finale. He'll guarantee, you know, if he, like you said, he all he has to do is, and I mean, it's for him. It's really, I think it's just not really a concern at all.
It's not anything particularly life changing, or that's something that he hasn't seen, or a competitive environment where he feels like I need to bring like my triple S tier game. I mean, he's going to bring that regardless. But like, had there been more life altering, more life changing money online, yeah, he probably would go. But like the fact that he went to France, and you know, strange thing too, you know, we talked about this a few episodes ago. GOML is the first of, I think, the 2 or 3 hybrid circuit tournaments. This one is the first one that's both. And
no, CEO also. Or no, was CEO not part of World Tour?
I don't think CEO was part of World Tour.
No. Okay. So this is that first one that is both World Tour and Panda. And we still didn't see anyone show up for it.
And nobody came.
That's weird, man. That's very strange to me. That, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just money. Like, Nintendo. Money. Somebody put money into this and people will show up. But yeah, like, we did mention Leo was at Colossal, and and Moist Esports Meister actually defeated him. These 2 are playing partners. They're both from the Mexico region. Like, I know that Leo is always gassed up when Meister plays well, so like there's no beef there. It's exciting to see Meister kind of get his footing again. He's kind of been off the last year or 2 even. I think the pandemic hurt his momentum a lot. Didn't he win Frostbite the year of the lockdown? Or he was close?
I want to say he was close. I think Leo came back and won that Frostbite.
That's right. Leo beat him in like the grand final or the winners final of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because remember, he got bodied in winners by Prodigy. He like whooped his ass, then he played all the way back from losers.
Yeah. But so it's cool to see Meister playing with, you know, not just Game & Watch, throwing out a Sora. We're not seeing a whole lot of Sora play out there because of how floaty the character is. But, you know, once again, DLC character, still kind of early in its life. Wouldn't be surprised if people are calling to ban Sora in a year, you know?
Well, it's only when the character. Apparently, it's only when someone figures out that this character is actually good that they want them to be banned.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a campaign to ban Piranha Plant.
Ban Piranha Plant, the first DLC character.
Honestly, you would probably get some backing if, like, you provided a legitimate tweet thread or doc or whatever.
If you out some crazy gimmer
I'll do
strat.
it twit longer, and it'll just be one word: character trash. No, Piranha Plant.
We
should talk about Melee.
We haven't touched on Melee yet, which is I think the superior esport to all esports. No, it really is the best esport in the world, but I don't know if it's superior. But it is fun to watch, and it does have HBox winning his first major in over 2 years.
Oh, I stand corrected, because I asked a few weeks ago if HBox was washed. Clearly, he's not.
Yeah. Well,
he even in your defense, he even thought he himself was washed, because after he did Pull Up Showdown at CEO, he was like, "Dude, I just think I'm going through a thing right now, man. Like, I'm having imposter syndrome." I'm like, "Dude, snap out of that.
Have imposter syndrome. Yeah,
like, what are you talking about?
You can't be a 3-time GOML winner and have imposter syndrome. Like, you can't have as many consecutive wins as he had, or consecutive weeks at number 1 that he had, and be imposter. That's never the case for this dude. Yeah. Some funny things that happened though. He beat IBDW heads up, and that had been like kind of a thorn in his side. The past at summits, at a couple of these tournaments, IBDW showing up with that Fox, maybe the fastest Fox player on earth right now. And
I think so.
Fox and Puff, that is like the ultimate. In my opinion, that's like the ultimate Melee matchup. I know we've had Peach in the past, we've had Marths in the past, but yeah, this was HBox's tournament, and he played very well.
He did.
I mean, to J-Mook's credit, though, he also played extremely well this weekend. So it's not like HBox just ran away with this one.
But also, it was like carrying your character all the way to grand finals in the case of J-Mook. We kind of mentioned J-Mook as someone to keep an eye on based on his performance at the most recent summit. And this was a hell of a run in his case. But going back to the IBDW matchup, I think IBDW may have invented something. The anti-pop-off.
The anti-pop-off.
You pop off when you lose in the face of the person who beat you to make them feel too awkward to pop off. And HBox, that's all he does is pop off. So that was really weird. Did you see that live, Rod?
I caught the tail end of it live. Like, I walked in as it was rapping, and I'm like, what? I was like, what is going on here? This is and I know how IBDW operates on Twitter, and some of the things he tweets and that he goes for, and I'm like, okay, but he's not one of those guys that is like, he gets upset when people pop off on him. Like, I know he's not that, is he? And then when I seen that, it was all smiles, because where I was standing, I couldn't see their faces. I was like, oh, okay, it's all smiles. They're just having fun with it. I said, but I honestly don't really like this tech, because I'm like, dude, just let the person pop off if they beat you.
Yeah.
Stop this. Dude, you're IBD. If they only pop off if you're good. If you're garbage, he would just get up and leave. I was like, but you're IBDW. They got to pop off. Come on.
It was weird. Yeah. And then the crowd was shouting at them to kiss at one point. It was all very strange. Like, the whole thing
turned a little awkward for sure.
I wasn't a fan, but I guess I was happy that for the first time in practically forever, Smashers were showing a little personality on stage, kind of like what we see in Street Fighter. When I remember a long time ago, there was Smug and Justin Wong, and after every match they would cut their head really hard and stare at each other and then stare at the camera or some shit, little things like that the fighting game community should embrace more, but we don't see it carry over into Smash. And this was our first little splash.
Are they both Team Liquid?
No. IBW's Panda.
Panda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He's still Panda.
That was just it was weird. I saw this live and I was just like,
so a Panda player did not win the second Panda event. Won the first Panda event, but not the second Panda event.
Yeah, we had Team Liquid here taking it. Is Onan sponsored?
Onan is not sponsored.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 16. He's 16. Yeah. He's out there. And he's playing with the most broken character in the meta right now. So
they got to get some eyes on him.
But yeah, I saw Jmook got a sponsorship. Like Meister has Moist Esports behind him now. Yeah. But yeah, HBox. I don't want to say he's back, but that was the best I've seen him play in a very long time.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for HBox.
And like composed, kind of calm for most of the rounds, and then came out there. He had to beat some real people. You know what I mean? Like, that was Melee showed up to Canada. And
Melee always shows up to GOML. You know, Smash, this is the first year for Ultimate, or like, you know, the Brawl Smash 4 Ultimate, you know, trilogy, whatever, because they're more in line, obviously, than Melee is. But this is the first time I've seen them, like, almost fumble this a little bit. It's almost as like we've been begging for in-person tournaments to come back safely, which is another big thing, too. Shout out to GOML for making sure everybody's masked and vaxxed up, even though that really doesn't matter. But it was nice to see that. It matters, but it kind of doesn't. But you know, I guess
I have to beg to differ with you. The masks are good at a couple of things. If you yourself have COVID, it may prevent you from spreading it to someone else. It's also really good at preventing other illnesses. So if there is like a flu virus at that thing, you know, like cons tend to have just a flu virus at them. It's pretty good at preventing that. But I agree with you. Omicron and BA2, BA5, they're ultra contagious. If you're around someone for 7 minutes, you're probably going to get it if they're shedding the virus. So I understand that point.
Like, the real strat is just to stay home. But, you know, if you're going to go out, at least enforce the masking. And they did that. But, yeah, this is the first time I feel like they just didn't show up the way that they were supposed to. And it kind of hurts a little bit because I feel like, you know, when I think of EMG and Waveform and just like their work in the community, you know, a lot of their work really gears itself more towards Smash 4 and Ultimate than it does Melee. Melee just kind of comes out because of the history and the lore that was set in place so many years ago. But yeah, it kind of hurts to see, but hopefully, you know, with us begging for tournaments to be back and begging for world tour circuits and you know, stateside circuits and, you know, having tournaments to be consecutive weeks, like this is my 4th back-to-back week, like of not being home, which I'm like super done with after Double Down this weekend. Like we asked for it and it's here and the players aren't coming. Yes, these are young people. You know, put your mental health first, put your, you know, your family and everything first. Because this was also the 4th of July weekend, but it was also Canada Day weekend too. So, like, if Canada can show up, I feel like America can show up in certain ways. But because these past GOMLs have always been on Victoria Day weekend, which I just found out. And Canada still showed up ready to play. So, I don't know. Hopefully, you know, with next year's dates, I believe it's July 21st through 23rd, we get, you know, an influx of players and we don't have to worry about any holiday.
Rod, do you know what the prize or the pot bonuses were for these events?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I'm on start.gg and they don't list any money. They're just like
HBox didn't post any envelope this week, so we don't know.
HBox with his usual transparency didn't tell us how much he won. And also, it just says 40% of the pot bonus went to Onan. So that's strange. Also, start.gg is a terrible name, and smash.gg was better. I'm just going to throw that out there.
There you go.
But, no, it's weird. We don't know, because that might explain why Leo's like, screw that, I'm going to France. Especially if they're paying for, especially if they're, like, you think at your Leo's age, you want to see the world. If you have these companies that are willing to pay you to see the world, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, I get where he's coming from entirely. Especially if, usually, if a pot bonus is impressive, they'll disclose it. You know,
so they use that as like a marketing point sometimes for players.
So I think that might be part of what's going on here, Rod. That we're not really, because of the lack of transparency, we're not really seeing it. But that could explain part of this.
That would just be an all too familiar story for Smash Brothers, though.
Yeah, and I love Toronto Joe. Like, I think of all the TOs, he's the one that really like hits the community the hardest. Like, he'll try his best to get everybody all hands on deck the best way he can. And you know, Canada, more than any of the American tournaments, has a really, really great relationship with Red Bull. And I'm sure Red Bull would love to get involved even more with pot bonuses and create like a small circuit or something up there in the Great White North. But we all know that the man in overalls is not going to allow any of that type of fun. And we've you know, read the docs and everything in the past about why Red Bull can't get involved the way they want to. But it is rather unfortunate. You know, I'm sure if Joe could have it a different way with a bigger pot bonus, he would take it. But at what cost? Like, am I not on the circuit now? Like, what do I lose? It's unfortunate.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm going to make the argument that being on the Panda Cup might not be worth it. Might not be worth it.
It's not worth it to the top player in the world.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're not going to get these, the level of competition, if it's not going to be like what you see at Summit or even hell, Pound, like something needs to change.
You
here.
could also argue this is the second Panda Cup Ultimate tournament we've seen with a severe lack of top tier, player turnout, because
Some players are just ignoring
kind of you also mentioned CEO is kind of the same story with Ultimate, not with other games, but with Ultimate only. CEO kind of didn't hit as hard because it didn't have the players, and this again, Ultimate just not quite getting there because we're not seeing people show up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But Double Down's this weekend, and it is a platinum stop, and it seems like everybody signed up, so we'll see how it goes.
Is Double Down also both Smash World Tour and Panda Cup?
No, that's an original gamer one.
Smash World Tour.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it's a platinum stop too. No surprise there. I mean, I only made the tournament, so I might as well make it platinum. And I think everybody's coming, so we'll see what Smash Ultimate and Melee looks like this weekend.
Is Rodfest happening at Double Down?
It could. It could happen to Double Down.
Is Rodfest turning into a tour?
I think so. I want it to happen up in Canada because you can go a little crazy up here and there's healthcare, so you can get yourself looked at and fixed. But in Vegas, we're taking it to Area 51. I'm showing up on their doorstep with the party.
I know we are talking about a Rodfest global ranking system, so maybe we should start talking about that and how not showing up to GOML will affect things. Like, is Onin on the Rodfest tier list now?
You know what? Just because of that, Onin is top 5 now. Just because of that, just because Leo didn't want to show up and Sparrow didn't want to show up. Now Onin is now top 5 in the world, and Riddles might be number 2.
We got to ban Steve.
What about Big D?
Big D's somewhere in there too. I got to see one more good performance from Big D. I feel like I don't get to see him as much as I would like to, but he gives me, because when I was on commentary, I said, man, I would really like to see him push out of that top 32-16 into that top 8 area, and this has to be determined for him to do it, and he did it. So if he can do that one more time for me at something that's supposed to be a major but feels more like a super regional or something, or even at a real major, I'd be like, you know what, he's in that top 5 on Rodfest rankings.
Okay.
All right. Well, if you want to know more about Rodfest and all of its various evolutions and happenings and rankings and systems and things that are just being invented on the spot here on the wide world of electronic sports, make sure you're following the channel. Make sure you got the notification bell filled in. Make sure you're doing all of that stuff so that way you'll stay up to date on all of the Rodfest news, because it is evolving very quickly. If you have the means to support us, please feel free to kick us a subscription. You can get a free subscription by linking your Amazon Prime and Twitch Prime accounts together. That will give you basically a free sub every month. They just give it away. They're like, hey, here you go. Use it on whatever channel you like. You should use it on our channel. That way we can keep bringing you all of this awesome content week after week, a variety of shows available for you. We're not the only show on here. We got lots of great stuff. Steve Tendo's. We got Pop Goes the Culture. We got The Dump every Friday. We got Shack Air with Jan. We got Indie-licious. We got Big Team Battles. We got
Big Team Building.
Pop Goes the Culture. Big Team Building. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking of the Halo battle.
We don't play Halo anymore. It's
not anymore. Yeah, it's done. Forget that. But Big Team Building is out there. Pop Goes the Culture is out there. Yeah, lots of stuff to watch. Make sure you're checking it all out. And if you can't check it out,
this week on Big Team Building, we're going to be playing Rocket League on its anniversary. Rocket League turns 7 on 7/7.
Wow, 7 years old. That? Congratulations to Rocket League. We'll definitely get into some more Rocket League news later on. But yeah, if you can't watch all of the stuff here on Twitch, you can always head over to YouTube, where we upload VODs of all of our shows over on Shacknews Games. And we have our sister channel, Gamer Hub Videos. That one you can find more in-depth stuff like developer interviews, previews. We have thousands of hours of exclusive content over there. All done by Greg Burkleton-Burke in the video mine. She's doing excellent work down there, chipping away at all of these videos. And really, you got to go check them out. Subscribe to both of those channels, Shacknews Games and Gamer Hub Videos. And if you want to talk about it, you could talk about it on your social media platforms like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, where you can find us at Shacknews on Twitter. on Facebook, Shacknews Media on Instagram, where you can find Denny Von Doom. He's the one holding it down over there, Denny. Denny, what's going down on Twitter today?
I mean, folks have been talking about a couple different things on Twitter. We also got, some Xbox Game Pass news, You can get some Peppa Pig next week.
Yeah, Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig fan.
Game Pass. That's huge. That's the breaking news of the day.
Yeah, Power Wash Sim is hitting day one next week.
I'll give a shout out. I'll give a shout out. The algorithm actually recommended this video to me last night from Shacknews YouTube. Bill Lavoie caught up with the devs of Call of the Wild, The Angler, and got some really great questions in. It's an open world fishing game, and I am super in. But they talked about fish mechanics, like how the fish are going to spawn, like almost this global system that they had to create for the game. So if you're into fishing, that is going to be a game to keep an eye on.
That's like an esport in the making.
It is. I mean, who doesn't love competitive fishing? I don't know if you ever watch bass fishing on TV. It's exhilarating because they actually edit it so that you only see when they catch the fish part. But yeah, it's that game was cool. It's on our YouTube channel, and the devs shared it and stuff. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff to check out on YouTube. There's also a lot of our Legacy E6 content that's still great. Like if you haven't seen the Suda 51 interview, or if you haven't watched my Stonks panel, or any of the other things
that we had, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, all the musicians. Like Mega Ran's set is up on our YouTube, which is awesome.
It looks
Reed
like
Wolcott, Lacey Johnson.
Greg has just put up some of that Street Fighter 6 content as well from Summer Game Fest. So you want to see some Chun-Li and Ryu action. It's also up there as well.
Yeah, and actually talking with the devs about the game too. I think we talk about the rollback netcode that they're going to be implementing.
Yeah, that rollback has been quite the conversation already. People are thirsty to figure out how good it's going to be or not be.
That's exactly the kind of info we're trying to get down to here on Wide World of Electronic Sports. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, and if you're watching this show, you are probably interested in Street Fighter 6 and its implementation of rollback netcode. So yeah, definitely go check out that interview. Check out all of them. But yeah, give Denny Von Doom a shout out over on our social media platforms, but also check out our social media platform in Shack Pets, a brand new free app that you can download on the iOS App Store, the Google Play Store. It's completely free, not a dime. You don't have to spend anything, and it will give you so much entertainment value for that free price. I mean, there's thousands of pictures now. 1,300 almost, or over 1,300 pictures.
Over 1,300 images on the platform, which means that there are potential for over 1.5 million potential matches. We're still getting a lot of matches during the day. Even if you don't want to compete, even if you don't have a pet, you can just log in and look at pet pictures all day. There are studies that show that people who look at pet pictures on the internet every day are less stressed, or it can help you lower your blood pressure even. So,
I believe that. Yeah, go lower your blood pressure and check out some cute pets on Shack Pets, everybody.
I can tell you, like, I tend to use Shack Pets after I lose Rocket League tournaments because I'm usually really pissed off after that, and it's nice to just look at a picture of a skunk sometimes. And with our new update, you can just type in, like, I just want to look at a skunk. You know what I mean? So there's like, if you wanted to see bunnies, you want to see cats. If you're someone who hates dogs like Rod, you can filter out all the dogs, and only look at all the kitty cats. And there's a lot of cats.
I like the cute dogs, the little ones, like the poodle here. Termy's
you like cat-like dogs?
I like the little ones. Big ones scare me.
Lola is definitely not big. Lola's
cute. I like Lola.
And so I see there's also like a buddy system in the app, so you can like become buddies with other users and only see like their. So if you like, want to follow a particular pet, then you can become buddies with that pet's owner. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's not a clout-based thing. Like it's more like a bookmark feature. So if you like a pet, you can highlight them and you can easily see them. That is on every single screen now. So if you want to vote, but there's too many votes and you only want to vote for your friends, just tap on the buddies thing and it's right there. We actually added a search function to the app now that's global. So you can, if you remember the name of a pet, You can type it in. So yeah, I would argue that we have better search on Shack Pets than Shacknews.com.
I would. That's not even an argument. I'd say that's probably an objective fact.
Yeah, especially when looking at the forum. But yeah, Buddies is an awesome feature. It also works on the challenge screen, where if you just want to challenge your friends, it's very easy to do now. These are things that did not exist at launch. We're still improving the app. 1.0.6 is going to be the version that probably carries us through summer, because we are working on a very large update. That we may even do an Shacknews Direct for when we.
So Shack Pets is already really polished, but it's still early days for the app. Still lots of things in development. And yeah, it's really cool watching it grow and just seeing the outside engagement that we've been getting from people who don't even know what Shacknews is. They just want to look at cute pets.
Yep. That's what I would say is really interesting about our user base. It's about 60% people who know Shacknews, 40% who don't. There's also a lot of female users joining the platform, probably more than you would see at a video game site. So that's pretty awesome too. Yeah, it's been great. And this is like still very early days. I would say that most of the things, I wouldn't say everything, but most of the things that I had in the design doc for our original opinion of what launch would be are now in the app. There's a couple things that are still out there. Buddies kind of is the beginning of something that we'll get to in a later update. But yeah, we're working on some stuff before we really actually do a marketing push of any kind. We haven't really, outside of our own channels, we really haven't done much to promote the app. So to see this many users, this many pictures, this many pets has been awesome. And yeah, we're hard at work on a very large update that will set us up for a really big push into the end of the year. I think around election time, the app's going to become very marketable because everyone's going to be telling you to vote. So I will start my Vote for Lola campaign sometime later this summer.
Nice. Well, you guys have done an excellent job. You and the devs behind the scenes have done an excellent job with Shack Pets, and it's really been cool watching that progress. But let's move into the rest of our stories and something that hasn't been handled with so much care, and that would be the Apex Legends Global Series hitting a big snag with their upcoming championship. So Electronic Arts has decided that the Apex Legends Global Series championships will be held stateside here in the US of A, and are inviting other teams from around the world, of course, to come to America early in preparation for the championship to practice their game. Now, you would think when inviting teams from around the world to come play your flagship battle royale first-person shooter, top-tier esport, that you would have some sort of facility set up for these teams to train, some sort of computers, something. But no, there's literally nothing. EA had nothing set up for these guys coming over from around the world. Literally had them booked at esports summer camps designed for kids. I mean, like 6 to 12-year-olds are running around this esports summer camps while these professional teams are trying to practice. There's a video in one of these Twitter links.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah,
of the guy sitting in his chair, like just showing the other, his fans what his team is dealing with. And then other teams had the opportunity to go to the esports section at the local Walmart, which is, I guess, a little bit better. But both locations are hampered by low-spec machines, inadequate connections. I mean, just terrible connections, terrible pings. And this is for a championship series. This is for a big esports event, lots of money on the line. I have to feel like EA is giving the American teams an unfair advantage just because of the pure fact, just the simple fact, rather, that they're already here. They already have gaming houses or, training grounds set up, so they don't have to worry about this stuff. This is Bush League, guys. What do you think about this, Asif?
It's EA.
It's EA.
I mean, do I need to say, like, look, there's great people at EA who work really hard.
Yeah.
But what the hell? This is terrible. And it's just the lack of attention to detail. It's like maybe they hired some third-party firm that did the event for them or something, and they didn't really actually physically go there to look at it. This is what makes me appreciate good TOs. Because, like, good TOs don't let this stuff happen. And as much shit as the FGC gets a lot of shit, this shit does not happen in the FGC. And if it does, they get stomped out real quick.
Yeah.
They do.
This is ridiculous.
It's not good. And what's funny about this too, I know you mentioned like a couple Walmart locations with like scuffed internet, and I'm like, don't they have esports arenas in some of the Walmarts around the world?
Where one of the teams is playing at the esports arena at the Walmart in North Carolina where this is being held.
Right, but what I'm getting is I've never even like. It was funny. Is like one of the roommates that are in the house works at ESA, and like. My history with ESA, they've always done really great work, from a front end and a back end thing. So to hear something like this happen just is mind boggling to me because, like, they fought so hard to get into Walmart. That was very hard for them to do. And then for them to, like, fumble it, it's just like, what the hell? Like, something's going on.
Could be a regional thing, man. Some places just have crap internet. And it's not like there's not a whole lot of choice for internet. So if there's a location that they decide to have this at, and they didn't do the due diligence that a good TO would do, like, that's the first thing I ask anytime I'm planning an event is, what's the internet situation and how much does it cost? But yeah, because at events, like if you're in a convention center, internet costs a shit ton of money. So I understand, like, not wanting to be in a convention center or a hotel situation, but, like, if you have a partner like Walmart, you can't. An online game like Apex, you have to have a good ping. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. So it's like, there has to be some weird disconnect between the actual esports orgs, the TO, and whoever the hell booked this. But yeah,
I can't imagine being an esports organization and willingly sending my team over to the States to play at a esports training camp in some strip mall with a bunch of 12-year-olds. Mm-hmm. Like, not to discount the esports training camp, that absolutely should exist. That's a great thing for children. But for a professional team who is going over to the States to represent themselves for what I'm assuming is a prize pool that is that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, I would hope. I would be ashamed to have to send my team over to the States and have them play in these conditions, practice in these conditions, because this isn't obviously where they're holding the tournament, but this is just where they have, set them up to, if you want to practice, you can go here.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes it even worse, is that you're just there to practice and not play. Like, this is where you're supposed to go to get better and to, like, create healthy habits and, healthy physical and mental habits, which are two very key aspects in playing anything competitively. And the fact that you can't even do that is just...
Imagine, like a Smash tournament, and it's like, oh, the hand warming stations are outside at the McDonald's around the corner, and you only can play it in...
You have to put Smash 64 on the McDonald's Nintendo 64 kiosk.
Yeah, like, there's no... Like, yeah, this is weird. And, like, I frequently come back to this, but I stand by it. If you have billions of dollars on your balance sheet, there's no excuse for this kind of shit. It just shows you don't care, or someone along the chain of command doesn't care.
They could have put these guys up somewhere. They could have rented some gaming laptops. They could have done something.
This is also, like, the best thing EA has going right now, especially in esports. Like, Apex is a good game, and it's actually fun to watch, and you have major orgs competing. Like, don't treat your international guests like this. I saw, like, one of them said it's just a bunch of kids running around with no mask coughing, too. Like, we still are in a COVID world, and people traveling internationally may be more sensitive to that than Americans, because we're dumb. But, like, that sucks. It's a bad impression to give people, and it just shows the lack of care from EA, which is not that surprising to me, because they basically lucked into this. Like, I don't think...
I'm sure getting Respawn, they lucked into this, because that is a solid dev team who just makes solid games.
They lucked into Apex becoming this massive thing. It wasn't because, like, EA came up with a great idea or some suit who told them to put a jetpack in Anthem. created Apex. Like, no, there's actually good devs, really good gunplay, and like a care that they put into these new characters, new modes, the whole arena thing that they've done in Apex. Like,
they do lore building and all of that.
Yeah, they've done a lot, and that's what. Like, so when you see them invest on that side, and then you see them treat it like this, you're like, what the hell are you doing? But then you remember it's EA.
It's EA, and like they do like a really good job of like, oh man, it's been a while. They like came out with a really good statement. Like they just did a really good thing. Like for June and Pride Month, it was like, damn man, that was a really good statement. And like they like it seemed like they give a shit about everything. And then this happens.
Well, it just goes to show when you're an organization, a company as large as EA, there's always going to be mishaps or miscommunications like this happening because you cannot always keep the right hand knowing what the left hand is doing with organizations this large.
True. It's very true.
They are valued at $35 billion, right? you can afford to set up a remote PlayStation place or like something with a bunch of computers. They could have done that.
Yeah.
So that sucks. And I feel bad for because to your point, like it hurts the credibility of the competition because you have, like you said, it favors the ones with the gamer houses or the orgs that can afford to like send computers with their players. And stuff. So,
because I mean, you can ship like sending a team over to play in a competition is one thing, but sending over a team plus 6 full computer setups is a completely different logistical nightmare.
Mm-hmm. And you're not going to send them from overseas. You're going to work with your partners in the U.S. and try to get them sent there.
Yeah,
like, you would having set up LANs. Like, I've set up better LANs than that. Like at Quakeholio, you know what I mean? Like I've had to work with partners and logistics and all that, and like we're just Shacknews. Like $35 billion company should be able to handle this. And I know I sound like a broken record, but it's because this keeps happening. Like companies keep doing this shit, and like we can't let them get away with it. We have to call them out when we see it.
With this.
They can't. It's literally the Jesse from Breaking Bad gif. Like, they can't keep getting away with this, but they do because Apex is a good game, and it's not it's better than playing Quake Champions.
True.
All right, let's move on to the next bit. Yes, let's move on to the next bit. With that dig, let's move on to the next bit of just bad news in the esports world this week. This one surrounding one of our favorite organizations to talk about when it comes to bungles and mishaps in esports, and that's Rodney's own favorite FaZe Clan. One of their Fortnite pros, Scented, has been removed from the organization, banned, gone, removed, because a clip was recovered of him saying the N-word, just not even like slip up or anything, like just full on out there, like so inappropriate, so gross. I mean, FaZe Clan really had no choice but to get this guy out of there, and I'm glad they did because now the gaming community is at least a little bit better because Scented is, gone. But I just feel like, when are these stories going to just stop happening, man? These stories, yeah, it is.
He just like star, and he just like showed up and said it like this. I would imagine he just jumped into the Discord, boom. I see my boys live, jumps right in. What's up? Boom, 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 and it's just
he comes out with a twit longer apologizing for the word, ever even being in his vocabulary and blah blah blah. But with a clip like that, this person just blatantly says it all the time.
Yeah. He's referring to his friend as that, which is like obviously abusing the word entirely, and it's that toxic gamer shit that we see a lot, especially in shooter games. But holy shit. Yeah, I just watched that. That is...
It's pretty bad. And his boy is like, bro, we're live. And it's just like, you could tell at that moment, he's like, my whole life is about to change. Oops.
Yeah.
I just fucked up. Yeah, it's just sheer stupidity. And like...
This is like the fuck around and find out story of the week.
Yeah.
This is definitely... Because to fuck around is human, but to find out, that is a divine spiritual experience. And as you can see here, he has unfortunately found out that he's no longer on FaZe Clan.
Good on FaZe for banning him. Bad on FaZe for signing him to begin with. Because he's probably been a piece of shit for a while. Like, I guess it's hard to vet these things, but like,
Yeah,
I play a lot. I play a lot of
get
games online.
He obviously didn't show up for his FaZe Clan interview, just shouting it out to everybody in the room.
Yeah,
some folks are real deceptive of keeping this stuff in their little private discords of all their like in jokes and other nonsense that they like to share.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. And the fact that his buddy was so quick to be like, bro, we're live. And it's just like, you didn't tell him, bro, don't ever say that. Like, it was just, we're live.
It's
like,
not, it's not, hey, that's a fucked up thing to say.
Yeah,
it's
no,
instant admonishment. We're live on Twitch. You shouldn't say this because we always say it when we're not live, but when you're live, don't say it. You know what I mean? That right there.
That absolutely speaks to the inherent toxicity just in gaming cultures where these kinds of places still exist. They're still all over the place. And like if someone were to me, if I was in a Discord and that were to happen, I'd be like, whoa, what the fuck? Like that is never acceptable in any way. Not just, by the way, we're recording. You might want to.
They keep these private servers where they like
a little shit on your nose right there.
Like to hop into, nice little game chats or, playing with some random teammates and shouting obscenities and all their nonsense. It's stupid, but not surprised at all here.
No. Yeah, not at all. This is the least surprising story we had all week. It sucks. I hate that. But I encounter homophobia and racism almost on a daily basis playing online games. So it's not that surprising, especially in the next game we're going to talk about, Rocket League. It's like
it just sucks that these are professionals, right? This is a Fortnite pro who has followers, who has people who hopefully did look up to him in the past and do not look up to him any longer. But that's obviously not the case. So it just sucks that we keep seeing these more high profile professionals keep just being shitty people, I
feel like it's almost in a way good that it did happen. I hate that.
I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah, it's good that but it also kind of sets the precedent or it's supposed to. But again, some people are just going to have blind followers. But it's good that it happened to somebody of his stature on a team as big as FaZe Clan, one of the biggest esports in the world. So it shows that he messed up. And this could be you. We don't give a shit like who you are, how big you are. We can get rid of you too, to some degree. So hopefully, he just disappears forever and he goes about his life.
He's only been on FaZe since March of last year. So this is a huge failure on his part. Like you're not gonna. This is not. I doubt you get picked up by another org.
No, he's cooked. Yeah, he's super done.
Not a lot of competition out there. Yeah, no.
It may be.
Why we bring that into our org? There's plenty of folks out here playing Fortnite of all things.
Yeah, it's like there's millions of people playing Fortnite, and not all of them are dropping the N-word as like the second word they say when they hop into a Discord. Like that to me is the damning part of this. Is like the way that he says it is like that is a word he uses a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No hesitation, no anything. It's not like he was singing the songs to a lyric and was like, do I or not?
No, that's a word that to Rod's point, him and his friends use to each other. And I've definitely been around people in the gaming space that tried to use that word as a salutation. I just looked at them like, what the fuck are you saying right now?
Yeah, like what? We don't do that.
Yeah. So no place for that word anywhere. And gaming should do better to get rid of it. They're not doing too good at it. Let's just say that. Like this keeps happening.
FaZe Clan has done a tiny bit better, so
good on them for acting quickly
to cap things off. Good on them for acting quickly, getting them out of there, and good luck on everything else you got going on.
Yeah, Fortnite.
So let's move on. Let's move on from Fortnite to a much better esport, and that is one of our personal favorites, Rocket League. And yes, Moist Esports, a organization we like to talk about because they do sponsor a lot of Smash players, and it's just this wild, just kind of out of nowhere esports org created by, this one content creator who was like, you know what, fuck it, I want to have an esports org of my own.
Hell yeah.
And yeah,
I love Charlie. Charlie's awesome.
Exactly. So
he's a chaotic force in esports.
Absolutely, good chaos for sure.
Yeah.
They have won their first Rocket League major. Congratulations to Moist Esports on winning an RLCS major. It was a crazy finals. Like, it was a 7-game bracket reset first. So there was a first grand finals that went all the way to the 7th game, all the way to the very end. Moist was able to get the bracket reset and then take that momentum to sweep Team Falcons 4-0 in the final grand finals.
Just real quick,
Asif, I know you
Falcons.
Want to talk about this, so yeah, please.
I watched this. I watched the entire grand finals. It was, as someone who plays a lot of Rocket League, I play a very defensive style of Rocket League. It is not the sexiest form of Rocket League, right? When you're playing defense, it may not be as high scoring. This was a matchup of two excellent defensive teams. Moist Esports, which was formerly Team Queso, excellent defenders, also great at counterattack, which is like hugely important in this game. Falcons, what's interesting about Falcons, I think this is the first time ever that a Middle East regional team made it to the grand finals of a major. And they did it sweeping all the way on the winner's side of the bracket up until the grand finals. So they were on fire, man. And this was, maybe I'm a little biased because I got to see some brown people on the screen for once, but it was really cool to see a team from that region make it that far. So they had a great run.
I think you're right. And Middle Eastern esports just doesn't get enough representation. So yeah, it's great to see more representation.
But for them, like, this was a huge event. This was an in-person event in London, England, and there was a freaking arena sold out. There were chants happening. There was like that nationalism that you see, or that patriotism that you see when there's a regionalism, I guess, because there was the EU team, there's the American teams, there's the Middle East teams, Oceania. To have everyone there is awesome. And then to see, like, in a LAN environment, to see Middle East represent like they did, it was amazing. So props to Team Falcons, just in general, for the guts they showed, and just the awesome talent that they had on that team. I think it is like one of these things where sometimes winners bracket runs cool you off leading into the grand finals.
Yes.
And I think that may have happened to them because they were stomping people. And then they had to wait. They had to wait for that losers bracket run for Moist to happen. And Moist is just insanely talented. They're really fun to watch. And this was back and forth. Like you said, it was a 4-3 grand final in that first round. I think it was like 3 of those games went to overtime. Yes. So it wasn't just like close in the games. The games themselves were very close. And like one little thing in Rocket League, you miss one ball, it opens it up for someone else. Like, Falcons was very close to taking this.
Even the 4-0 sweep had some close games, so it wasn't like a decisive sweep. One of those games went to overtime. A lot of the games were like 1-goal victories. So yeah,
it goes back to what I was saying. It was a defensive battle. It was like watching the 85 Bears play like the Ravens from 2000 or something. Like, it was not like, it wasn't about this flashy offense and all that. Granted, there were like Rise over on Moist is like one of the best offensive players I've ever seen play the game. So it's not that they're bad at offense. It's just that they're very focused on the defensive side of the ball, which to me, like, that's how this game should be played, is in a counterattack sort of way. Just from a soccer standpoint too, that's kind of how I feel like. That's why I've always liked the German teams and like other teams on the national stage in soccer. There's a lot of similarities between these games. But it was very close. And it, like, some people like to watch games for high scoring and all that. To me, this was like maybe the best Rocket League I've ever seen played by 2 teams. So it wasn't. Wow. That's what I thought made it great. Like, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch the VOD. You're not going to miss anything by, like, you're not going to get spoiled by us telling you who wins this. It's fun just to watch these two go head to head. And this was a great showcase of Rocket League. You know, we mentioned earlier, Rocket League turned 7 this week. I firmly believe Rocket League, even though it's not there yet, I think Rocket League will be at that Quake Melee status as an esport. Like, we're going to be talking about Rocket League as an esport 10 years
in
from
13 more years when it's 20 years old. Yes.
Yeah. I'm saying that right now we are witnessing it become that game that's going to transcend time.
Oh yeah, I think so.
And I think it already has a little bit because this is a UE3 game.
I mean, 7 years is a long time in video gaming.
Yes,
it is.
I mean, just think that's an entire console generation, and that's a long console generation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, that's basically the start of the 360 all the way until it ended and everything, or you know, the PS4 or 5. I mean,
I want to say that this was not on the 360 though.
No, it wasn't. It started on PS3.
Yeah, PS4. It's on
PS4. Sorry.
PS4 it's that old. But yeah, PS4 was where it began. It was a free.
Wasn't
PSN
the Super Battle
game.
Car game a PS3 game?
Yes.
Okay,
that is correct. That is correct.
This first like prototype version game was a PS3.
Horrible name, terrible SEO.
Yeah.
Yes, that game was a PS3 game. It was also built on UE3. This game's built on Unreal Engine 3, and it now transcends PS4, Xbox One, PC. It's on Switch.
It's on
There's
everything.
A mobile game that isn't the same. There is obviously the new gen, current gen, whatever the hell we're calling it, PS5, Xbox Series, whatever. It's on all these things. It's free. Epic Games owns them now. Like, a lot's changed, but at the end of the day, this game is the same. It plays very similarly to what it did. We're getting to the point where it's not going to have as many game-changing patches. You know, kind of like where Melee's at right now, right. where these games kind of stagnate, or Quake. You know what I mean? Like OG Quake. I'm not talking about Quake Champions here. I'm talking about actual Quake as an esport, which is still a thing. We throw a tournament once a year for it. But yeah, like, this is, to me, Rocket League is really in its prime as an esport. Like, we're seeing massive sellouts for live in-person events. Not a single person in England was wearing a mask, by the way, Rod. So it's like, it was this weird weekend for me where some of the events I watched, everyone at GDQ, commentators, hosts, runners, people in the crowd, everyone's wearing a mask there. GOML, it was like a mixture. Rocket League, not a single mask in sight. So it's like, it's all over the place right now. But we are getting back to in-person events, is my point.
Yeah.
And it's like, at some point we had to say, you know what, COVID, get fucked. Like, we got to keep doing what we're doing in the safest way we can. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Because there are careers on the line that were halted in 2020. There's like a lot of stuff going on. But to see Rocket League back in England with like a massive crowd, people chanting for teams, people chanting for players, it just felt good. Like, it was such a great way to end my weekend of watching Twitch, because it was I watched a ton of GDQ last week, but then Saturday came around, I started watching some GOML because I had to support my buddy Rod out there on stage. And then, yeah, like, I was kind of bouncing between GOML and GDQ, because there was like another Pokemon run, and those things take like 4 hours. And
Pokemon runs are weird, but in a good way.
Any RPG is going to be a long one.
Yeah.
Actually, Rod, that might be a place for you to get into commentary.
I could be down because I'm really, really big on Pokemon. I know that they run particularly a lot of the older titles too, which I'm like super set on, because even at GOML, they had a retro gaming zone, and I spent literally 30 to 40% of my time when I wasn't commentating, like, they are playing old Pokemon handhelds and console stuff.
So I had already watched like 1 4-hour Pokemon stream earlier in the week, so I was like, I'm good. I don't want to watch another 4-hour Pokemon. I think it was a randomizer one. I was like, I'm good. So I flipped it on to GOML on Saturday. But Sunday, there was no GDQ, and there was like a little bit of time between, I believe, Melee. Was it Melee was first, and then Ultimate, right?
Yes, because Ultimate, we did top 32 to 8 to start Sunday off, and then Melee top 8, and then Ultimate top 8.
Yeah, so I watched top 8 of Melee, and then when that ended, I was like, I'm going to flip it over to Rocket League. And I got to watch just maybe the best game, or maybe the best series I've ever seen played. So if you really like Rocket League, go back and watch that VOD of Falcons versus Team Moist. Also, just shout out to Charlie, man, for like
I
investing
agree.
in esports.
That is just beautiful, and we talk about it, I know, frequently here, but I don't think people quite understand like the content creator thing and like esports are starting to merge together in the middle. Now, sometimes like things are birthed like, again, Brian's favorite series of tournaments, Twitch Rivals. I mean, we all love competitive Fall Guys and Among Us, but like sometimes you get people like Aaron Ashley Simon and, of course, him to create strong teams and not just teams for like one-off things. Like, I mean, these teams are set with real backing now. You know what I'm saying? We're taking players, we're helping change lives for the better. Like, this is the type of show, like, or even if it's something as simple as like a tournament. Charles, one of the commentators, he lives here too. He just did an Alpha Rat. I think it was like a ping pong tournament. And Alpha Rat, of course, comes from an esports background. He used to work with Tourney Locator back in the day. But it's nice to see him, even as big as they are as creators, come back and create opportunities for players. Because once upon a time, guess what? Out there, viewers, they were just players out there trying to do cool shit too.
Another smasher, Rod, who I think kind of falls into that category is Bear. With Bear, what he does with the Mario Kart tournaments. So, like, yeah, I agree with you. Content creation and esports have collided in a big way, especially in Smash, because you can just make more money as a content creator than you can if you're huge, right? If you're an HBox level, if you're some other guys before him. Even Mewtwo King, stuff like that. And then you're also seeing them make money on the Metafy side of things, right? So, like, Metafy is not necessarily content creation, but it is like you're streaming with someone else, kind of. Like, it's like a one-on-one kind of experience, right? So I think there's definitely opportunities there. But I just love seeing a YouTuber streamer who really wasn't directly involved in either of these games. Mm-hmm. Like, Charlie wasn't known for being like an amazing Smash player or anything. He just likes Smash and he likes Rocket League. So it's been awesome to see him build his org just out of things he cares about, not necessarily because he thinks he's going to make money. And I think that's interesting motivation to see compared to these like stodgy companies that are running esports orgs.
Yeah, just trying to get in and make a quick. This is why, like, I even want like Leo to Leo. You're traveling to other spots, but I would love if you like vlogged a little bit, or maybe just stream, just like what their scene is like. Like, just show up to a weekly. You don't even got to play, but just say hi, shake hands with the TOs, and just show like people in America. Because again, we're so quick to think, it's just us. It's just America. Nothing else matters. But no, the world is much bigger than what we have going on over here, especially esports.
But what he does that's different than most of these other orgs, Charlie streams the events. He co-streams. So he increases the viewership for your tournament by like 50 to 100%. You know, so like you saw, I think, I don't have the exact numbers on GOML, but it got into like the close to 50 or 80K people watching or something.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
There were another 50K watching on Charlie's stream. So it's like, it's great for the esports visibility to have someone of his stature, like, actually... He cares. He supports his teams. He's like, this is a big day for Moist Esports, and he streamed. He does his own co-stream where he kind of commentates on top of it. So it's been great to watch that too. It's great for. I think he has a melee player now too on his org.
Does he?
He might. Either way, he was streaming.
And if not, he needs to get one because
he might as well at this point. But yeah, like his ultimate. Roster is kind of growing now, where he has Aaron, he has Meister, he has Cola. Like, these are some, he's got some great players now in his org. And then, like I said, he picked Team Queso. Like, he was like, you are the chosen ones. You are now Moist Esports. And look at them, like. They've been in the grand finals twice out of 3 of these majors this season.
Yeah. And even at GOML.
And then they win.
Well, even at GOML, like the top, or the bottom half of top 8, I believe the first 3 players, I think 5th, 6th, and 7th, were all Moist Esports, which I think is huge. I mean, it just shows that, he's not only just in this for the money. I mean, there's content creators, of course, trying to do that, but he's also reading the terrain, which players are good versus which players obviously need the help that are good, that aren't getting the help that they deserve. How do I help elevate them? And I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know what their deals are, any player with Moist, but it looks like whatever it is, it's very much in the players' favor because they are doing damn good work.
I know we're trying to wrap up soon, but real quick, what happened with Aaron where he was complaining about the lighting on stage? Do you remember that?
Oh, I want to say what ended up happening was the fire alarm went off. So somebody pulled the fire alarm twice at GOML. Yeah.
Every event keeps happening.
Yeah, somebody's pulling a fire alarm. So the first time, I think it was like earlier in the day on Friday, it was like double. So it was like, whatever. But when you get to like that late night Saturday, that late Sunday stuff too, you want to make sure that the scene is set the way it's supposed to be. And I think somebody pulled the fire alarm, and it wasn't loud, but it was one of those like really abrupt blinks, like the blink, like the really heavy ones. And I'll be honest, it's fighting games, and you all know fighting games. You got to have frame perfect precision. You got to be able to make sure you can see properly. And I think that kind of got to him.
He did. I saw that match where he got knocked out in the top 8. He was furious. Like he was tilted. You know what I mean? Like, you're not able to play at 100% when you're like that. So that sucks. Here's a quick fix for your TOs out there. Get a Wise camera, make sure it's on your event Wi-Fi, and put that shit near every pull down in your venue. Put a camera on it. You'll at least catch who's doing it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can prevent it from even happening if you see it. But I think that we got to be serious about it. Now, a lot of these venues probably have security cameras already in place for that. But that sucks because I hate seeing that because he's a great player.
He is.
And it's
and
unfortunate.
He works so hard. And he I'll be honest. I'll just go on record and say this. I first met Aaron back when he was dire, like in 2016 or 17. I was like, this kid's really good. I think he's the future. And I was right. But I also had a very fixated opinion on him because, for one, he was from Florida and he was like, always popping off and raging and kind of just, losing his marbles and shit all the time, which is something I'm just like, I try to keep it as calm, cool, and collected as possible when I'm playing. And then, like, if I pop off a little bit, that's fine. But, like, I'm not with the raging stuff. And so he started doing that a lot. And I was just like, all right, I'm done with Aaron. And I just mentally wrote him off for like 3 years. And then he popped back up in the beginning of Ultimate, not playing Diddy, playing Inkling. And then he switched back over to Diddy. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I was too quick to judge him. Let's see if he's grown. And he's grown tremendously. Like, he's a completely different player. I mean, nobody's perfect. He's still working on himself. But, he's taking the initial steps into being a better player. Because, Moist Esports isn't just going to sponsor any old damn body. You got to make sure you're a good person, too. And I'm glad that they got him.
I think he's really benefited from that, though. And maybe having Charlie in his corner has also helped him kind of calm things down a little bit. But, yeah, I was one thing I remembered from GOML that I wanted to bring up. But, yeah, we can... That's it for our esports. But yeah, if you like Rocket League, boy, should you watch that matchup because it was really
absolutely. Yeah, congrats to Moist Esports. Congrats to Charlie, aka Moist Critical. Congrats to everybody involved with that organization for getting their first RCL or RLCS major. Yeah, very big news for them.
And happy birthday, Rocket League! You are almost best esports.
Almost. Very close. Getting there. All right. That is going to wrap up our esports talk of the day. We got about 15 minutes left until we go into Indie-licious with TJ Denzer. We usually go into Steve Tendo. Yeah.
We flipped time slots today.
Yeah,
it's a different day, different time slot.
Switcheroo. It's the bizarro wide world of esports today. But let's talk about a little bit of sauces first. We got some sauce talk we can get into. You know what? I think I'm just going to cut the last sauce talk topic out of there. Fuck that one anyways. The consumer satisfaction index, that nobody cares about that. We got to talk about this giant Cheez-It. Everybody's talking about the giant Cheez-It testing at certain Taco Bell locations. I believe it's in Southern California somewhere. You might be able to get one, Denny, or not Denny, Rod. Yeah, Rod.
I might.
Go get this thing and report back.
If you are in the testing location, definitely report back. So Taco Bell is testing a giant Cheez-It tostada or a Crunchwrap Supreme. They're calling it the Big Cheez-It. If you do live in this test area, you can definitely try it out. If you just want a Big Cheez-It, you could order the tostada with no toppings whatsoever. And I guess you're paying like $10 probably for for just like a 3-inch square Cheez-It. I don't know how
what?
big.
I might actually do this.
How big do you really think this thing is? I don't think it's that big.
Dude, I don't know. I wouldn't put anything past Taco Bell. It might actually be as big as you think it is.
Yeah, it's probably like, maybe
it might be bigger than that, Brian.
So it's a Cheez-It the size of your face.
Yeah, I just don't even know if I. All right, I love Cheez-Its. Pretty fond of Taco Bell. They got me through what would have been my college years, of course. Putting them together, though, it just seems like. I mean, but it just looks like it makes sense. Like sometimes you just see two foods and coming together, and it's just like it should just go together.
It's not a tortilla, though. Tortillas.
It's a toast.
Normally don't crumble when you try to eat them. A Cheez-It is just going to crumble when you try to eat that, right? You take one bite, and that whole thing's going to crack in half.
But then you don't want it soft either, because like hot food on top of that would like kind of soggy. And you don't want a soggy Cheez-It, because then what the fuck, It's like,
this is weird for one reason. This is the first time where PepsiCo isn't the owner of this crossover thing.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, because
it's
like Frito-Lay stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's normally like, here's some Doritos bullshit, or here's some,
Does PepsiCo own Yum Foods? Is that the whole thing?
There's Yum Brands and PepsiCo used to be together.
I see.
But Kellogg actually owns Cheez-Its. So this is like a joint venture by Kellogg and Yum Brands here. Weird. That right there is weird to me, because usually they keep it in-house. Yeah, I don't know. Cheez-Its are great. A big cheese is probably great too. So like
Cheez-Its for me are like one of those like, all right guys, if there's cheeses at the party, you have to watch me, because if I eat one's going to turn to 3, 3's going to turn to 9, and I'm going to eat the whole party bowl, box, whatever.
The box, yeah.
Yeah, they won't. They don't last a day. They never last a day.
So when do they just give us what we want and sell a 12-pack sleeve of these big Cheez-Its?
I mean, the sodium amount in that would be ridiculous.
Like, you can get like a record crate, but it's just Cheez-Its.
Yeah, it's just a little rectangular box, and it's got 12 of these lined up in there.
Listen. Look, what I need Taco Bell to bring back, Brian, and you already know what I'm about to say. I need them to bring back the Beefy Crunch burrito. I will be an avid Taco Bell consumer if they brought that back. The spicy Fritos in it, with the way that they did it back, what was I, 2012 or 13? I was there every day. Okay, I have the bad skin in the pictures to prove it. I was eating that shit every day. It was so damn good.
But look, we talk about a lot of stupid shit on this segment. This looks good. Like, it doesn't look bad. That looks edible. It looks like it probably tastes okay. Like, I'm not asking myself why it exists.
Which one would you try? Which one would you want to try between the two items available? I'd probably go for the Crunch Wrap myself.
I think so too.
It looks less messy.
The Crunch Wrap.
Yeah, because I think that the tostada, to your point, Brian, and this is true of every tostada I've ever eaten in my entire life, eventually it cracks, you lose the structural integrity, and then you just have a pile of whatever the hell was on top of it.
You're eating a salad at that point.
Yeah.
Just goop.
Yeah.
It's just like
but
goop.
Nothing wrong with that. I love salads, but like,
yeah.
No, I agree. The Crunch Wrap Supreme is going to keep the structural integrity together longer, but ultimately, the amount of soggy Taco Bell-ness on top of the Cheez-It, it's going to drip through.
Yeah,
it's like a race against the clock when you get the bag.
I'm just picturing the preparation for making these things. With
honestly,
the amount of toasting that might have to happen, and if it's not done right, I don't know.
I don't think they toast them in the store. I'm pretty sure they get them already done, toasted.
So what? They microwave it?
No, it's just they take it. They take it out of
second
a
picture,
bag.
it looked kind of toasted. Like it looks like there might be some toasting on the edges going on there.
Need you to find this.
Okay, so that looks just as toasted as any cheese that you get out of a box.
I'm here in SoCal until Thursday-ish. I might have to try to get over there and see how I can find this, because it actually looks pretty good. And look, I know everybody loves my Burger King takes, Asif. I know you do. All right, I'm going to have a good opinion, a good review on this thing if I can find it. I'm going to be like, hey, it's no Burger King, but it gets the job done.
Look, Rod, I will reimburse the purchase of this if you find it. This is a business expense. No. Okay. It's a business expense. We're doing this for science, damn it.
Yes.
But
that is a factory-made Cheez-It, just larger, right there. There's nothing special about it except for the size.
Denny, it does look kind of toasted. I don't know.
That's what I was saying. You know,
I really want to know more because you're right, Denny. Because if there is a variable that they have to toast it, then there's a chance that the preparation won't be the same across the places, and then you can have a shitty experience because you're going to.
Well, then like imagine ordering this thing on DoorDash too. Like, you know, this by the time it gets to you, it could be the soggiest piece of whatever you get. Like, kind of like Raising Cane's fries or like anything. It just doesn't last.
Individually wrapped.
Raising Cane's fries. There's a trick. There's a secret menu to Raising Cane's. You can ask for crispier fries.
I did not know that. I just learned something new.
You can also get your wings naked if you don't want the breading or your fingers. You can get unbreaded chicken fingers at Raising Cane's by asking for them naked.
Unbreaded, so like a grilled chicken strip?
They don't look grilled. They're still fried. They're just not fried in batter. With batter. They're not battered. That's the only difference.
I might give that a go because I had a place called Dave's Hot Chicken last night, and that shit was probably some of the best finger food chicken I've ever had. But maybe I need to give Cane's one more try. I'm gonna try it naked. And then I'm gonna get in there.
But yeah, this looks acceptable.
All right. Well, let's move on to something that might not be so acceptable. DiGiorno Pizza is holding a contest to give you a sweet and savory. I guess it is delivery because it would be shipped to your house through some shipping company. It's a kit including croissant crust cones and pizza flavored ice creams. Both ice creams are one is strawberry tomato basil and the other one is Parmesan cheese.
Okay, I've seen this, and I was like, I should link this. I said, but I feel like Boss Man is showing up today, and I said I can't give any more rancid raw takes, so I got to put two good ones in here. So I'm glad you did this and not me.
This is all me. I'm the one who put this in here.
I'm fine talking about this nonsense. It's just if you actually think this is a good idea, there's something wrong.
Yeah. So
that sounds disgusting.
The cone itself, a croissant crust cone, I don't know. Probably be fine. Yeah.
That's fine. No
problem with the Parmesan cheese ice cream? No, man.
No one asked for this.
Flavored ice cream, my friend.
Trash.
No, nobody wants it. Strawberry tomato basil might not be too bad, actually. It depends on the combination, the ratio of the flavors.
Mm-hmm. So you said this is delivery.
No, it's well, I mean, DiGiorno's whole thing is not delivery, but
that's my point.
If you win this, they have to ship it to you, so technically it is delivery.
This is a giveaway?
This is a giveaway. This is a contest.
What?
You can win this, Asif. The miracle can happen to you.
I don't want it. I don't want this life.
So you go to the website keeplifedelicious.com/DiGiorno/crust cone sweepstakes, excuse me. And yeah, you enter in a contest. It's running for 7 days from 7/7 to 7/17. Yeah, they're not selling it. They're giving it away because it's
how many people are winning?
Is
it just one person?
I have no idea.
Are you even really a winner if you win this thing? I mean, I feel like we have. Yeah, there's no way you're actually a winner.
Rod, are you going to sign up for science?
I am going to sign up though.
Okay.
You already knew I was.
Yeah. Well, this seems like a huge pivot for DiGiorno away from not delivery towards delivery. I think that's the real headline here.
I think so.
Is that they're actually
they will deliver, but it's only pizza ice cream. They won't deliver actual pizza.
This idea is only half bad in my opinion. Like the idea of croissant cones, I'm into because I like croissants. Who doesn't like croissants?
Croissants are great.
You know, buttery, crispy, all sorts of good stuff. It's this Parmesan ice cream that needs to be stopped. What was the other flavor?
Tomato, strawberry, strawberry, tomato, basil.
I already don't like basil, any damn thing, and then adding strawberry is just like insult to injury. Like I don't know.
Those are just no.
Yeah, it's just no.
Tomato should not be near ice cream, ever.
Ever.
There's a countdown. There's an actual countdown on
I feel
the
like they're threatening me. I'm watching it. It's going down. It's not just a minute countdown. It's by the second, Brian. I feel like this is like a doomsday clock more than anything.
There's the opening of the Hellmouth is preparing.
Watching this website with such anticipation that they are counting the seconds to when they are able to enter this. Who's out there watching this countdown with such fervor that they're literally marking
I'm sure
each
there's some
second.
YouTubers that are probably like all over this. They're like, yeah, we need to get this day one and put it in our air fryer or something.
Like Report of the Week. He would be a great person to break this down.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to see, has Report of the Week had the Cheez-It yet? That would be...
Probably, I don't think he'd have to live in that test location.
That's right. I love his content. I don't know if you guys watch him ever, but he's great. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not having this. I'm not having this at all.
Can go to hell. I'm down to try like weird combinations of stuff, but the minute I see tomato basil and ice cream in the same sentence, I mean, if it's even too close in the same sentence, I've already tuned it out. Let alone, I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
So this is a America only contest open to legal residents of all 50 United States and the District of Columbia. 20 winners will receive the following: two DiGiorno croissant crust cones and 2 pints of Honey Hut flavored ice cream.
How
with one $15 grocery gift card to use for your ice cream toppings, of course, because you couldn't have this delectable, savory ice cream treat without all of your favorite toppings. Total ARV for all prizes, $860. That's the big money being given away for this contest.
Wow.
I am not having it.
Absolutely not.
They're not even spending $1,000 on this shit.
I know, but like, no. Good that they're not spending so much money on it. Bad that they're even doing it. This is like, these are two really good stories to put next to each other. Because the Cheez-It one, like, I don't even like Taco Bell, and I'm into that. This,
Same.
I have no problem with DiGiorno. That's good stuff. If you need a frozen pizza at your house, but no. Go home. Go home, DiGiorno. You're drunk. Whoever came up with this, clearly inebriated.
All right, get it out of here. Let's move on to the final segment of the day. We'll wrap up the show with our Shack Pets Showdown, the Cortex Carnage Report. And we have to report on not just a winner of the week like we usually do. We're reporting on a winner for the month. That's right. The entire month of June has claimed a winner for Shack Pets. And look at Rodney's own borrowed Shack Pet there. What's your dog's name, or your borrowed dog's name again?
Termy, like Turney, but just with the M.
Turney. Oh, Termy. Termy, like a termite, like a cute affectation for a termite. Got it.
Right,
Termy.
Well, hello, Termy. Glad to have you for our Shack Pets Showdown, and you'll note the winner for Shacknews for the month of June is probably not a surprise. It is 8 Mikey.
Yeah, free food for you. Don't smell it.
But I think what's more exciting is that the McAdoo has gained such a huge amount of points in such a short time, racking up over 200,000 points to take the second place spot. That means the month of July might not be so cut and dry. We could see some real competition for 8 Mikey show up, or you could be that competition just by using Shack Pets. Also of note, Mason wins the Chatty for June just by being chatty. So congratulations to Mason.
Mason also does sports posts a lot of OPs. A lot of OPs of
exactly
things.
Very chatty person. It's very good to have them in the chatty, bringing us all of those OPs. Looks like Mad Dog has learned that the gift threads are kind of done. It's all about Wordle threads, but really those are done now too. Nobody cares about Wordle anymore, people. It's over.
People still care about Wordle.
Okay, I guess.
I played that game.
There were people at the bar playing it.
I played that game until I lost, and then I stopped playing it. I had like 90 some wins in a row, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, it's ruined after that point, right? I mean, how can you look at that?
I also I don't like the New York Times.
I don't either.
I really enjoyed Wordle when it was like a little indie thing on a university website. I thought that was kind of cool. The minute that New York Times took it over, I was kind of worried. And then the New York Times writes some really dumb shit. I'm not saying everything about everyone who works there, but man, there have been their opinion pieces have been terrible in the last year or so. Just some highlights from Cortex. Rumpo, Bill Lavoie, our co-EIC here at Shacknews, won the last 2 days. Yes. Shout out to Tilted Tom, who's usually in our chat. Probably doesn't know where the hell we are because he was probably watching. He was in our chat yesterday at 6:30, like waiting for us, and he's like, "Where were they?"
Is everybody?
Oh yeah, Tilted Tom won a couple of times last week too. It was weird. 8 Mikey tends to win on the weekends. This time it looked like he front loaded his week because he was busy on the weekend. Yeah. A lot of people were busy, so it's actually this week's probably going to be an easier week to win Shack Pets than other ones. I haven't really been competing. Maybe I will sometime in the future, but I do like to go in there and vote at the very least to just help my friends out if they're competing. But yeah, the weeklies and the daily Carnage reports have kind of shown an interesting mix of people, new and old Shackers combined there. But yeah, Bill Lavoie won yesterday, so shout out to Bill.
Boss man Bill.
His cats were in the mix, Sadie and Patches. And Chuck, I think. But yeah.
Love to see it. Absolutely.
And I think Denny has the latest pet on the platform right now. But you could too if you just upload it.
Yeah. Go to the iOS App Store, go to the Google Play Store, download the app, and upload your pictures. And that way, Denny's picture won't be the newest one anymore. But Denny, I'm sure you're going to be uploading. Oh, is there a newer picture?
Yeah. Yeah, Mango.
Wow. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been loading up some more from our, time outside barbecuing.
Nice.
Got some more shots coming.
But yeah,
and I'm sure you'll win some battles with those, Denny.
I'm hoping so.
I'm sitting on a treasure trove of Lola pictures that I just have not uploaded to the platform yet because I don't want to dominate the game.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But some days I think about it. When I see, because at the core of this game, it's about proving that your pet is cuter, or at least that picture is cuter than the other one. And I get challenged. Even that's the thing about this app is even if you don't use it, you get challenged if you upload images, and then you're like, "Well, crap! I should have voted." So I'm starting to get better at least making sure that I, go to the results screen, I see what's upcoming, and I'm like, "Okay, I've been challenged X amount of times. I gotta do something about this." Because 8 Mikey will challenge you, and then he'll vote for his pet, and if you don't vote for yours, you're just handing him a W.
There you go.
And I'm not about stopping 8 Mikey, but I would love to see someone actually come and give him.
We don't ban Steve. We don't ban 8 Mikey. we keep the meta the way it is right now.
8 Mikey's got like 15 pets on the platform. It's
That's right.
Insane. But you can beat him with just one pet. So
no, it can be done. It's been shown to be done. Obviously, we've shown it here, and as we've said many times, if you want to be featured on our Shack Pets Showdown, the Cortex, if you want to be the Cortex winner of the week, just get the app, use it, have fun, de-stress, and you'll earn a ton of Shack points at the same time. And
you can also get points
by yourself on the list. Again, you can go to the website, go to shacknews.com, use everything because all of it earns you Shack points. Every feature on the website is loaded. It's part of the gamification of Shack News. So use Cortex, use Reader, use Chatty, use the front page. Anything you do will get you those good points.
Even lolling posts.
That's right. Yes, 15 opportunities to win and 15 opportunities to lose and give someone else a W. That's right. Johnny Chugs, thank you so much. But I think that's going to do it for our show. Let's get out of here so Johnny Chugs can take over and show you some really cool indie games. Indielicious is popping up next. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Wide World of Electronic Sports. This has been episode 139?
139. Yeah.
139. All right, getting
Those
up there.
Flying.
That's right. I'm Brian Leffler, your co-host, joined as always by Rodney Conyers Jr., Dennis White, and Asif Khan. We're all wishing you a happy Tuesday. Be safe. Have fun. Watch some Indie-licious, everyone. Bye-bye. And I think we are out. Yep. Shack Pet's commercial is on.
Discord, please.
Ah!